Each and every man under my command owes me 100 Nazi scalps. And I want my scalps. And all y'all will get me 100 Nazi scalps, taken from the heads of 100 dead Nazis. Or you will die trying.
Hello and welcome to the Nattercast for Sons of Anarchy, episode 701, The Black Widower, the season premiere of season 7, directed by Paris Barkley and written by Kurt Sutter. I am Jason Schenkel of Schenkel Studios, and I am here with my, what do we call ourselves?
A lot of women, cats, and a dog.
Lots of women, cats, and a dog crew. I'm here with my ice cream club.
Ice cream club, that's right. We have ice cream.
And we have ice cream.
Because we are having an ice cream meeting.
We are having an ice cream meeting, unlike on the show where they never have an ice cream meeting. And we are here to natter at you tonight about the premiere of the 7th season of Sons of Anarchy. But first, our contact information. We are the Nattercast. You can reach us at www.nattercast.com. If you'd like to send us a note, you can send it to nattercast@gmail.com. And where the real party is for us is on Facebook. If you come to Facebook and search for Nattercast, you'll find a page and a group at facebook.com/Nattercast and facebook.com/groups/Nattercast. And if you would like the page and join the group, we'd love to have you ride out this final season with us. And so before, though, we get into all the everything, we wanted to have a special remembrance for a friend of ours, and so I'm throwing to Sion here
Yes,
for that.
Brian Freudenthal, who passed away this spring after the end of the season. Big SOA fan.
Yep.
If I remember correctly, I think I either discovered we were watching it at the same time, or he's the one who turned me on to it. I can't remember. And when he passed away, he was buried in his SOA pajamas.
Yeah.
In his casket in a big service. And some HAs were there to send him off.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he's the guy in one of my little movies who's in a motorcycle, and he was my gun wrangler and good friend and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, he did the gun safety for a movie, and he.
Do you want to say something, Sherry?
Featured it.
Sherry became very close to him too in the last couple of years.
Yes, and it was because of you and him that got me turned on to Sons of Anarchy.
Aww.
Remember that dinner we
Yes.
had, and yeah, you guys were talking about it. And you know, the last 3 seasons I would go over there every Tuesday night and have dinner, and we'd watch it at 7:00 because he had the dish.
Yeah, he used to text me and tease me with that.
Yes, and we love to do that too.
Yes.
DirecTV, I watch at 7 too.
Yeah.
And I have to say, and I wasn't going to say it because I didn't want to bring anybody down, but when I was watching this at 10:00 at night, the theme song came on, and I lost it.
Oh.
Because I knew I was supposed to be watching it with him.
Yeah.
And it's just not the same. But, you know, I definitely miss him. And by the way, he's buried next to Amaro. Morrow.
So he's spending eternity with Clay.
Yes, and it was just right there, too. It's like 2 spots over, and it was just perfect.
Yeah. So, Brian, we miss you, absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we're pouring
my
out.
gosh.
And there you go. All right.
Yay.
So, anyway, so back onto our little cast here. We also want to send a shout out to the Watchers of Anarchy.
Hey, Watchers!
Yeah, who were a big inspiration and big help in us getting started with our cast and our general thing, and they participate. And also, Brad Zipprich over there is doing a cast about every month called the Bizarre Newscast.
It's hysterical.
It's hysterical that we participate in, and there's lots of Florida news. And
I think half the fun is just preparing for the cast.
Yeah, it's just
there's
sort of like
all these emails and instant messages on Facebook between us. All with, did you see this piece of news? This person in Florida ate an alligator's head while wearing a baby outfit. It's stuff like this.
Yeah.
We played a game.
Awesome.
Did this happen in Texas,
Florida
or Germany?
Or Germany. And then I've been doing, California, Las Vegas, or Japan. Yeah, so check out Bizarre Earth and the Watchers. It's difficult to imagine that anybody's listening to us for Sam Crow who hasn't listened to Watchers, but if you came to us through Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad or any other things, and you have some interest in Sons of Anarchy.
You want more sons.
You want more sons? Check out the Watchers.
And what's really good about the Watchers is that most of them are bikers.
Yes.
And they're in the Midwest, and they just bring a real... And they just make it this community thing. You get to go to church on Saturday.
Yeah.
You can live chat with them. You can see them cast. You can call in.
Yeah,
it's like
a whole big,
an event.
It's a whole big party.
They do a really cool thing at Christmas too.
Exactly.
Oh wow.
So
yeah, you would love it, Jerry.
Yes. Okay, so back on our show, as I said, Paris Barkley directed, written by Kurt Sutter. They drew 6.2 million viewers, which is very impressive.
And I'm hoping it beat the last season's premiere because Kurt Sutter said if they beat it with a certain age range, that he's going to fly out a fan to see the finale.
I'm pretty sure they beat
A fan? He's going to fly out a fan.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm sorry, that doesn't motivate me.
Just fly out the people from the crews of the only 2 podcasts that cover your show.
There you go.
Please,
Thank you, Dan.
Probably a fan and a friend with a fan, but
I usually listen to like a ton of different podcasts when I'm preparing for a show, and then I'm like, oh yeah, there's only one, and they don't record till Saturday.
Yeah.
Other than us, I mean.
Yeah.
But we won't know till Monday if he's going to do it or not, so it's up in the air.
Well, Mr. Sutter, you have been challenged. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One
Fan bucket
fan.
challenge.
Pick me, pick me.
Okay, so let's just have some general discussion. What did everybody think of the episode? Start with what do you think, Sherry?
Well, I mean, it was, oh my God, it did make me upset a couple of times because you could just see right through those people and like, especially Gemma and her little story. I felt like just slapping her, like, I'm not a cop, but I know you're lying. Come on.
Right.
But I read what Mudball, I think it was Mudball who put.
Yeah, we have some feedback.
Yeah,
on
the
group,
on Facebook, and I was cracking up.
Yeah.
So I would give it a C. I'd
Yeah,
give
you
it
think a C? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm giving it a C as well.
I'm in B- territory.
And I agree with Mudball, but Bobby Shovelk is back.
Bobby Shovel's back.
My favorite fan. And I was like, oh my God, I was going to happen to him in the summer and he stops. But anyway, so Bobby's back, and I love what Bobby had to say.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
good.
do
That'd
some
be
listener.
fun to hear.
Was there any,
This is great.
I would say I'm more in the B- range too.
Yeah.
It was gripping when I watched it the first time. Mm-hmm. And usually I watch them like 5, 6, 7 times in the first week.
Right.
There were so many big scenes that I didn't need to watch again. I didn't need to see any of that torture stuff again, so it's like zipping. I want to rewatch the episode, but I really don't want to see this
montages
shit.
and torture.
Yeah. And so I just kept zipping to the actual scenes with dialogue.
I'm usually pretty forgiving of season premieres because they're going to have to lay a lot of track, But I'm not critical so much on that level as I am on Jax. Jax is starting to feel to me like Dexter. Like where the writer really wants us
so one-dimensional.
Well,
Right.
and Dexter became one-dimensional because the writers wanted you to be the hero, but he was doing decreasingly forgivable things.
And unforgivable.
More unforgivable, decreasingly forgivable.
Yeah.
And so the same thing here is with Jax, where it's not just that he's being evil or whatever; it's that the character has to be kind of blind and naive and everything else for the plot to work,
Right.
and for us to have any idea that there's any possibility there's a good man in there. And so I think that we'll see how they do this season, but I think they really need to commit to a theory of Jax. And I feel like this episode gave them the excuse not to. And so we'll see.
What irritated me the most with Jax is he's falling into the same patterns he has for all 7 fucking seasons. Gemma and
So
in the
true.
past...
Shane.
What?
Shane was just totally acknowledging.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Gemma and in the past Clay would come up with a scenario to cover up a murder and point him in a certain direction, and he'd just believe it hook, line, and sinker. And he freaking did it again. Like the cover-up of Donna's murder, the cover-up of blah, blah. Oh, no, it was Black. And then later on,
it's Chinese.
Shit. We're going to go start shit with Black that later is going to carry on for 2 seasons.
Right.
Or 3 seasons. I mean, like the Tig stuff is still sort of holding over our heads. What was that, 2 seasons ago?
Right.
And that was all based on lies to cover up shit that people did.
Right.
Within the club. And that part of it, I'm like, really?
And if
He's
you can
still
use those
blinding,
lies,
believing shit.
Yeah.
Things just don't wrap up that neatly in that world. But
No.
I drove by and I saw him and blah blah blah, and it's like, okay, so why did nobody have a voicemail from her? Why did nobody see her? Why didn't she show up at the scoop shop and see the babies hadn't been picked up?
Yeah, why are we learning about this 10 days later?
Yeah, what is it? 10 days only? I mean,
Yeah,
only
she
10
didn't say I
days.
saw a Chinese guy until she saw the actual guy again. Oh, it was him.
Right.
Oh, by the way, it was that guy.
Well, on rewatch, it was very clear that the reason he was like, setting up that party and stuff, he's like, and make sure Gemma's there. Because it was clear that he already knew Gemma's story.
Yes.
And he was giving Gemma a chance to point the guy out. So, I mean, that part,
Yes,
on hindsight, on rewatch.
But it feels like he got that story after he got out of jail.
I'm kind of hoping that's foreshadowing. And then right before Gemma dies, there's some horrible battle with cancer, and people are ignoring her and leaving her in a gutter. So someone says, "Make sure Gemma's there before they do the final blow."
That's right.
Nobody,
Gemma's there.
they just have you suffer from cancer forever. They don't kill you on that show.
What do you think, Shane? You had some. Shane, you had some critical analysis that was pretty interesting before the show.
Well, I mean, my 2 cents is, it didn't really. I'm straight C, maybe even C minus, but that's kind of. I'm always kind of there on this show. I have to agree with Paris Barkley in one of the interviews, postmortems. He said, I think they killed off last season one of the better actors on the show, and that was Maggie Siff. And it created she kind of could bring up some of the people around her, like Drea de Matteo and other people who I think were lesser actors. She could bring them up to her level, and I think they create a little bit of a vacuum in certain places. And but on the whole, it's exactly what you would expect from Sons of Anarchy. I mean, at this point, but I do believe that all the chess piece moving stuff that he's done over the last 4 or 5 seasons that weren't terribly organic at all, really start to come apart, going into the home stretch where it's supposed to feel more organic, or, threads are supposed to come back. All the stuff between clubs just bores the living snot out of me. There's brown and black and purple and orange, and, I just don't care about any of that. And
certainly not
this sort of... Yeah, exactly. It's just like, why do we now? The Grim Reapers are back. I mean, who or whatever their name are, the Grim Bastards. I mean, I don't know. I just don't care about anybody on that crew, and the fact that they're chasing it down to a 3 or a 4-way. I don't know how many people were in that bed.
3 in the bed, 1 on the floor, right?
There was one guy with a camera.
I thought there was one guy filming.
And there was one really large.
That was hysterical, but that's just me.
But
that was classic Sons.
There was like 2 scenes to set that up, and then there was the scene itself, and then there was a couple scenes to clean it up, and it's just like, whatever, they're just not relevant to.
Yeah, is there going to be a whole pastor sex story?
I have heard that story's going to come back.
The pastors?
Yeah.
Oh, of course it is.
Yeah,
it's completely set up that this is going to be the side war for the next 5 episodes or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, I got that same sense of like, oh, great. So now we're going to be dealing with bicurious Jesus freaks.
Oh, better. Maybe
that's a new gang.
Maybe they'll do the Westboro Baptist people come to
protest
a funeral.
No gay-friendly churches. And then, yes, gay-friendly churches.
Because bikers have been really big in the movement to line the streets and make it impossible for Westboro to picket funerals of all these different people, celebrities, but most particularly veterans. Right. People that die in the war. In the millions of American wars that we keep having.
Molly, do you have any impressions of the show? You're kind of new to this. I don't want to put you on the spot. Molly's here playing with kittens.
I just thought Gemma was completely ridiculous in her comment about her not being psychotic.
Yes.
Absolutely ridiculous. She's crazy.
Leave it to decapitated, knock it out of the park. On the
She's the root of all the evil that isn't charming,
exactly.
and in her life.
Juice just still being a bitch. Just still.
He's getting bitchier.
Yeah, he.
Although he does have a cute tush.
No, that's true.
He's hiding in a girl's apartment and hyper cleaning it.
I totally thought he had the whole back piece.
No.
I don't know why I thought that.
Oh, the tattoo?
Yeah.
This ink?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I was surprised that he had nothing on his backside.
No. He's been blacked out, right?
No.
He didn't get blacked out.
No.
He's still.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't
continuity.
remember.
It won't be a big blackout then if he doesn't have the tat.
No.
Yeah.
But
He will have to burn it off.
But he's at the table. I'm surprised he wouldn't have that tat. Didn't catch that.
Those are such important stuff.
This is part of stuff. So, okay. Well,
So, by the way, Molly, this is Danielle. Molly is my oldest daughter who's come to join us. I waited for years to get her into Sons, and she finally got into it last season, and then power watched over the summer and got caught up. So here she is.
So she's sitting in and keeping our new kittens.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. We have kittens Germanicus and Claudius.
Yep.
Yes. And Tyrion is behaving. He can sit at the table without a bed now.
Yep.
All right. Well, before we get to the recap, we got some listener feedback. Miss Sino.
And we'll start with my favorite Bobby Shovel, Robert Bobby Shovel Novarino. I love JNS. I think that's us.
That's us, yes.
By the way, Bobby, our
Jackson
Hollywood
Sutter.
power couple name is JCO. I just put Jason and put an I in there, and you got it. And the S is capitalized. It's going to be on People magazine. Anyways, gosh, team, I didn't quite know how to respond to Kurt's latest foray into French cinema, but I respect and applaud the decision. I thought the surreal technique of moving the group of main characters and having them appear in all kinds of different locales was interesting. The decision to leave out the bikes was mysterious, yet cute. Juicebox looks very sweaty. Probably packing some stench in the tiny apartment of death. What the fuck? Gather up the chairs, team. It's Jap stabbing time, and Jackie Boy is up. I love you all. Is Chuck still screwing Jax? Bobby Shuffle.
Jap stabbing is not the preferred nomenclature. It's Chinaman stabbing.
Yes.
Very good. We love Bobby Shovel. He's been a regular contributor to us every week.
Did you knock my cat out?
It's a good tip.
A couple more.
Completely passed out.
Yeah, finish up the purple section there.
Can somebody explain what the French cinema comment was?
Sutter has this weird
Do it in the middle of
Francophile
the coughing thing.
Francophile thing going on. Right, so like Chucky just was speaking French last year randomly, and he's every year he names one or two episodes.
Also, I think he's making
True.
making fun of the French wave.
And then there's and then I think
60s.
Bobby's also mentioning the French New Wave,
Yes.
which was unedited, random, long
Yes.
montages because there were no cuts, they had no coverage, so you had to show all whole takes at once.
Right.
So basically, they were like family movies. They just show the whole reel, and then they show the whole next reel.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The bicycle movie. What was that one?
Yes.
No, like the bicycle thief, the red balloon, that kind
Right.
of thing. Yeah.
Right. That was all strips, right?
The bicycle thief had long shots. The red balloon is pretty well cut, but
Yeah.
all right.
Okay.
More.
Okay, and bringing Z. Philip Zierman. Oh, great. The club owes a favor to the Aryan Brotherhood. What could possibly go wrong? Apparently, the price of sitting at the lunch table with the cool convicts is to bring Marilyn Manson some guy's teeth. I wonder if the prison guard, who just announced that Jax is talking to the DA in a crowded room full of convicts, just realized he may have put a stitch jacket on Jax.
It's possible.
Oh, it might be possible. Basically, this whole meeting was to establish that the DA realized Jax didn't kill his wife. Who the DA knew, Jax was willing to go to prison to protect. Might have been nice to tell him 10 days ago before he mutilated someone on behalf of the Aryan Brotherhood. The only thing worse and charming than the cops are the district attorneys.
True.
Do they have one?
Yeah.
What's her
For the
name?
region.
Is there a court there?
I think she's from LA. She's hood.
I know they have the roughest prison of any city in the country.
Oh yeah, San Joaquin County Jail. I was like looking up. I looked
It's like
them up
Pelican
online.
Bay or something.
Yeah, it's like a gladiator academy over there. In real life, not so much.
No.
It's more like a high school. But yeah.
The Mayans, Triad, and Sons are discussing a criminal conspiracy out in an open-air cafe next to a public street. Oh, come on, Philip. Did you not see some of Sutter's other fine work, The Shield? All of the heavy conversations happening in the police parking lot.
Yes.
Or out in a public park where everyone can hear it.
Well, when they did the wide shot or whatever, too, the Mayan clubhouse was up above. They had logos on the front of that building.
Yeah.
So it was
Right,
like
yeah.
a taqueria in the bottom.
It's a
and the
taqueria
Mayan
at the bottom,
club
but
was
they're
top.
like loudly projecting this
Right,
criminal
of
conspiracy on, as passersby are walking.
Of
yeah.
course.
Or some of the conversations they have in front of the candy shop. are
Why
a
not
piece
go
of work, too.
inside and have the conversation? Yeah.
The triads, are replacing the Mayans as the ethnic game most likely to get framed for murder committed by a member of Sam Crow or their family.
Yes.
True.
Am I the only one who thinks it's a bad idea for a convicted felon to torture and murder someone in their kitchen?
I wanted to make sure that he always does such a great thread on anything he's watching, and he nailed so many of the jokes that I was going to do that I wanted to make sure
his
he got
thread
the
was
first
just killing.
shot.
Was
It was
ripping me
killing.
up.
Yeah.
It was ripping us up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those of you who are new, if you want to see something really fun during the show, go to our Nattercast group. We have both the page and a group. The group is where the chatting is. And you'll see Philip Zierman open up these threads that simultaneously run as the show is being broadcast, and they are hysterical.
It's bringing the Z.
Yep.
Bring in the Z.
Yeah. He's so good.
Yeah.
He's really good.
His sarcasm.
Yeah, and halfway
love
through
his
an episode,
sarcasm.
he's already got like 50 posts.
Yeah, it's great.
He is
Yeah.
prolific poster when he's on it.
He is becoming the show for me.
Yeah.
Where another murder happened less than 2 weeks ago. Was that the same kitchen?
I think it was Jackson's
Yeah.
kitchen. That's where Tara
Well,
died.
you know, come on, Philip. He's trying to be symbolic.
And remember, she was communing with Tara's spirit over the sink that she stabbed her head in.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So be sure to get this guy's DNA all over your kitchen before you
Heavy
dispose of his
superstition
body.
going on here.
Yeah.
If it was me and the Cherry's laughing because Germanicus is totally playing with my papers. Gag or no gag, I would do everything I could to mumble I didn't do it. Oh yeah, like that would help.
Yeah.
Or something similar to try to tell Jax they're murdering the wrong guy.
At least try.
I will tell you, the way they had him gagged was beautiful, and he would not have been able to talk. Plus, he was swollen.
You almost never
His
say
face
that.
is swelling around
Yeah.
the gag.
Yeah.
So that was actually a time when they did something pretty good. Mary Ellen James. This was really good because this brought up a conversation between me and Jason. Long-time listener to the podcast, let me ask you something. What exactly did Juice do to betray Jax? I should know, but I'm fuzzy on it.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden I became fuzzy on it when you brought it up.
And this is something, we saw this in the Watchers group, and I saw it in a couple of the fan groups, where people were fuzzy on this, even though they recapped it at the beginning. And I think it's because you're looking at Juice and you say, which specific one of Juice's numerous fuck-ups is Jax mad about? Because it could be almost anything.
Right.
But it's in particular, it's that he told Nero that Jax had him kill the mother of the kid who did the school shooting,
Darvany.
Darvany, and Jax had denied that to Nero because that was Nero's cousin's girlfriend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Got to get it all together. So
Our
that's the
audio,
big
right?
betrayal.
Yep.
But but then there was also like shooting guys and stealing cocaine and a lot of other betrayals going on. So
Right.
Well, a lot of that he doesn't know about. Other members know.
So I don't have a whole track on what Jax knows or doesn't know about the Juice thing, but that was the specific reason why. I would think that would make Juice a kind of a low priority given everything else that's going on. It's like you mumbled a thing to Nero while he was ODing or something, wasn't it? Yeah. So I mean,
But it was his second suicide attempt.
Okay.
And they don't like that kind
You know.
of thing. They only like murder of other people.
Well, it shows you're
It
weak.
deprives you of a murder.
You can't be killing yourself, only others.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe if he had used a fork instead of pills.
I did read something interesting in an interview with the guy who played the one that got tortured and killed.
Which of the 100 was that?
Huh?
No,
No, the one that got
the
killed in the
Chinese guy.
kitchen.
The
Oh,
kitchen.
this one.
Shrimp
I'm
fry.
forgetting what
I'm
the
thinking,
character's
I'm thinking
name
all
was,
these
'cause
7 series of people getting tortured.
They never really said. I don't think they really said his name on the episode, so I couldn't remember it. But
Yeah.
he was actually, until like a year ago, he was a lawyer. He had just done law school and everything, and did like a 4-month stint in a law office, and realized this isn't for him, and got discovered on the street. So he had very little, or like no acting experience at all, other than he was also, for those of you listeners that also watched True Blood, he was one of the Yakuza.
Ah.
So, so this was a big plot line.
So he's getting some
end
good
of last
gigs.
season, this season 4. Well, he didn't have any lines though in True Blood. He was just part of the Yakuza posse, the muscle.
It's still pretty good.
Yeah.
He's not doing
That reminds me of my
comedic-
friend Steve, I can never say this, Hang Wang or something. I saw him in an audition. I'm like, this guy has it. And everybody else is like, we don't see it. And I'm like, mark my words, he has it. He was amazing. And he was an engineer, and he decided he was just going to be an actor. And he had all this martial arts background. He looks gorgeous, and he was so good.
Right.
And he's in LA now working.
Right.
Wow.
This
Always
guy,
popping up on a Warner's lot or somebody's
after
lot.
law, he was thinking of going into something physical fitness because
Yep.
obviously he's extremely buffed.
Right.
And then got discovered.
Yep.
Wow.
Very cool. Okay, well, let's roll right on into the recap and get through this thing. We are doing our first segment is Miss Sherry.
Hello.
Wait a minute. Did we answer Mary Ellen's?
Yes, we said it was
Yeah.
he killed. He told Nero that he killed the
Just
Barney
making sure.
on Jackson's orders.
I'm getting old.
But that was a lot of people, a lot of longtime viewers were like, I'm kind of hazy on what exactly is the issue with Jackson Juice because it could be on any number of things.
Too, yeah.
Well, because it could be any number of things.
No, I thought that was she
It was
brought up
all-
a good point.
Yeah.
It was only basically like the kiss of death at the last season that was the big flag,
right.
Right.
you know. So,
Yeah. So so that's the one Juice sin that Jax knows about.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Cabaret.
Yeah, we started with a montage. Typical Sutter. But we have to set everything up right. So, of course, we start out with Jax beating the crap out of this one guy in jail. And, sorry. And it goes to, Gemma watching the boys, guys on the road with T.O. Cross.
Mm-hmm.
I like that Wayne Unser visited Tara's grave.
Yeah.
had a question about that.
How many people do you actually think touched Jack's kids in this episode?
I know.
I'm more like, do I want a crow eater making me a sandwich? I don't think so. Her hands have been.
Did you see the look on Abel's face in that montage? It's just like, oh my god, not another peanut butter sandwich from a hooker,
Right.
It's their bread and butter.
He's like, I'll go back to playing Gene on Mad Men. See ya.
It's like, where did Nero go?
But I did feel bad for Abel because he was sad too.
Yeah.
His mommy's gone.
I mean, that was obviously a temporary marker for Tara. She doesn't have a gravestone yet. But what was with the number? It looked like the prison number that was on Clay's.
Oh, that's the account number.
I know, but usually it's just a name. It totally brought me right back to Clay's headstone that had his
I didn't even
prison
see that.
number on
Oh,
it.
his headstone has prison number on it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I think it's just for the temporary marker so they know, put the stone at 1492 or whatever. And,
But I mean, this is a show, so I'm just like,
yeah.
kind of weird.
Then Jax carves a swastika into into the inmate that he was beating the crap out of, and oh my god, my teeth hurt. When he was pulling out those teeth, I was like, oh god.
Already pretty loose from the pounding.
Yeah.
Obviously,
I thought
but
it was really
you have
great.
it.
I was able to pull them out in one big, long, perfect
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
and everything. That was better than what my doctor did.
I do have to say, I really actually liked this montage as montages go.
Right.
Because the transitions were really nice.
It was. I mean, it went
Yeah.
from inside to the road to back to inside, and just like kind of.
And with the camera movement staying consistent, it was just,
Yeah.
My initial
It was well
thought was,
executed.
screw you fans. I like my montages, said Sutter.
Exactly. He's not going to give up on the montage.
Nope.
Yeah.
And of course, Lila opens up the updated warehouse to new girls, and then it goes into Wayne taking Wendy back home.
And there you go.
Right.
There are many fine porno studios in California where people are not routinely shot every week.
True.
You'd think you could just travel 200 miles south and find a little better work than working at the Sam Crow warehouse in Stockton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was interesting when I watched the after the show thing. Charlie had said that it's set in L.A. It's like, no, it's not set in L.A. It's set in the Bay Area, but you're shooting it in L.A.
Yeah.
Like, dude, really?
Yeah.
This is the Bay Area.
My
Talking
line-
Stockton. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
My line that I wrote on that one was, welcome to the scene of Lila's torture with a pink bow on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And the prison with the swastika carving I have, that's Inglorious Jackstered.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's how Sutter thinks and think, oh, look how clever they do this. Let's take this apart. Let's see how I can apply. Like, I mean, he's never going to do a McLaren Crystal Blue Persuasion montage with transitions. That's just never going to happen.
No.
But he wants to. He's
wants
trying
to.
to up his game. You could see that.
McLaren could knock this show out of the park if he hired her.
Well, first she probably asks for a couple of thousand rewrites.
Probably. But anyway.
Or she'd just show up with her own script.
Right.
So,
Okay.
anyway, it goes to Gemma and Patterson kind of run into each other at the jail, both wanting to see Jax.
But first we have the credits. So what did we think of the new credits? The clayless credits with what looked to me to be Abel?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is it Abel? So the credits, they don't have the clay with the cigar and the shotgun.
No, I didn't even pay attention.
And who's the one that
and they show like a child reaching down and grabbing like it looks like a little cutter or some kind of bike.
Oh, I'm going to have to watch that again.
Yeah.
Did you see that, Molly?
It's a bike.
Is it a little bike?
Yeah, it's a little hand.
Reaching down to a bike, yeah. So, they got rid of clay, basically, out of the opening credits.
Right.
And replaced
And I saw that whoever it was pulled the shirt up. It kind of reminded me of Happy later in the episode.
Right.
Maybe that was him or something.
So, and they haven't changed the credits for 6 years. They've been the same credits all the way through, I think. Mm-hmm. Maybe some of the footage is different.
Same music.
But that's the first time they really killed one of the core characters.
Yeah, he's the first. He's the first core character to die.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't even notice that. I gotta watch it again.
And now, Maggie Sif is not on anymore, so her segment is off as well.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
So Patterson makes it clear to the clerk that she wants to see Jax before Gemma sees him. It's like, okay.
I want to see anyone before Gemma sees them.
So they're not corrupt, I guess.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the prison, and Jax throws the teeth to Marilyn Manson, and you notice that on his side of his hand he has the swastika too.
Right.
So you knew that's what he did it for.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And he talks to him about clearing the air because he had to. What did he say? He said, "What did he say?"
Well, he wants to clear the air between the AB and the MC because they have a couple of beefs, outstanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Going back to the Zobel stuff, right?
Going back to the Zobel stuff, and the outstanding thing is the massacred Gerber Ranch, which the Sons were totally involved in, and they're denying.
Right.
And Manson is seeing right through him completely. Mm-hmm. So we have a clip here of their yes. So this is like post making the deal. Here's Jax's advice to the number 3 man in the AB. We have a few seconds before it's going to pop in, so I'll fill.
Phil, Jason, Phil.
Because if I try to scan ahead, it'll just screw me. So here we go.
Vamp.
Hey, you can keep hating as much as you want. But when you get to Stockton, you should let your crew know that when push comes to shove and White needs a friend, they do best to reach out to the darkest hand in the yard.
I listened to that line. I've replayed it so many times, and it just,
Let's go tell her. DA wants to talk to you.
Here's the DA.
So we good?
I might need a few things from you in the future. Yeah, for now we're good.
He's like on this mission to force people across racial boundaries.
Now, yes. He's trying to unify the races, but like Aragorn in Lord of the Rings. But I didn't realize that white supremacists had to literally be white. I thought it was like peach. Oh my God. Like a little bit of red in there, a little bit of pink or not. But no, that guy is so white. He's really a white
He was
supremacist.
so bloated looking too.
Yeah,
but I was wondering how they were going to make him look halfway normal because he's had so much plastic surgery and he usually wears so much makeup.
Right.
Yeah.
So he didn't look plastic surgery out to me, but he looked very bloated.
He gained a lot of weight. I think
he looked like the guy I buy my crickets from, but older and bloated, and without the gauges.
You buy your crickets from the Aryan Brotherhood?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah. So Jax has made a deal with the Aryans. There you go.
So after Unser drops Wendy at home, he tells her to talk to Jax before you go to see the boys. She walks in because she told him don't come in because it's a mess.
Right.
She walks in, it's immaculate, and she's opening cupboards. Everything's perfect.
I thought Gemma had gone on her cleaning sprees.
Me too. Really, I wasn't
killed
expecting.
Gemma cleans.
And then Juice comes out with towel wrapped around him after we saw his cute butt.
Like, oh damn it!
Oh man, drop the towel. And basically they both jump. We're like, oh my gosh.
Right.
And so he explains to her that Gemma is letting him hide out there because he's in trouble with the club, and
Right.
And she's like, I don't care, get out. But,
he says it's complicated.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, it's not complicated.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't live here. That's not complicated.
But he did tell her that, they'll kill him if he runs into him again.
Right.
But the idea of leaving town,
nah. Well, he's hanging up for his money.
Should have left town when Jax was still gone.
Mm-hmm.
You've had 10 days, bitch.
Mm-hmm. I know. Because does the...
I
wonder, does the entire club know about Jax's plot to kill him? Or
no, but he has the Tacoma guys on Juice's business. Guarding it.
That's why he should have dipped out of town before anybody knew Jax was pissed at him.
Right.
Yeah.
What can you do? He's Juice.
Poor Juice.
Should go to Reno and
he has a 10-day mandatory pouting period before something.
and compulsive cleaning to soothe himself.
He is the Jesse Pinkman of the show in a lot of ways.
Well, he's so OCD, it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely on the cleaning, man.
Do you see the way things were organized in that refrigerator? I want to go over here.
I know, me too. My refrigerator never looked like that.
That's the Juice cleaning service, with or without towel.
There you go.
Without
Sherry will pay extra.
It's another $50 an hour if you want no towel.
That's worth it. That damn.
Mr. really had to wipe down that floor after all this.
Bend over and wipe that floor with your hands.
No, first let me mess it up and do some push-ups on it first.
Right.
Well, they say sometimes you have to cover your face to save your ass, and sometimes you have to cover your ass to save your face.
Okay, so now we're back in the interrogation room with Patterson and Jax, and she's telling him that they don't have anything to hold him against Tara's death or the other murder. So he's free to go. And for a split second, he even was kind of shocked. He gave that movement.
Really?
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Well, she also says we have no suspects. I find this hard to believe.
Yeah, well...
There are a dozen people...
Snitch.
Chara was going to snitch. There's a dozen people who would care.
Right.
Right? I know that they're not talking, probably because someone's guilty.
Exactly.
So it's weird that she would feel like, we have no idea. It could be Chinese people.
Right.
That's our top theory right now. It's the Chinese.
And so she's talking to him, and she tells him about her nephew, her son, and her nephew.
Her son and her nephew, yeah.
That were killed due to violence, and oh shoot.
And she's never
told.
told.
Do you guys believe her?
Yeah, I don't think she's told.
Probably.
She's never. 20 years. She's never told a crook that story.
No, never told anyone on the other side of the table.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know if I believe her.
weak.
I don't know if I'm with Danielle. I haven't decided yet.
I buy it.
I didn't buy it.
Because you doubters, she took her wig off. She is Hood. Everyone Hood has dead people. Come on.
Jesus Christ.
That's what Hood means.
Innocent till proven guilty, Sion.
Well, she hasn't proven herself innocent yet.
Because she really did a good acting job to Jax, as like me talking to you, that she was.
Yes, we've had many conversations like they do. Same tone, body language, content.
But as we know, cops and people like that will say whatever they need to say to get you talking.
Yeah, it might be.
And Jax wasn't saying a freaking word until she said that, and suddenly he starts talking.
Mm-hmm. So
to some degree,
it was certainly manipulation. The question here is it's another problem here we have is that Sutter sets these situations up, and then people just have to act dumb in order for them to keep going forward.
Right.
She has no suspects, and she has all this investment in the idea that Jax is a good man. It's like, what is the real evidence of this? There isn't. He murders 5 guys a week. You really letting him go is crazy.
So because when she yelled at him about 10 days ago, what was that all about?
10 days ago is when Tara died.
Right.
So 9 days ago is when Tara died. 10 days ago is when he cut the deal with her. So 10 days ago he had made himself willing to go to prison to save his wife and his children.
Okay.
Right, from her charges that were going to be on her.
right.
And so he was willing to sacrifice himself. He was willing to give up the club. He was willing to do what it took to make his family work. Mm-hmm. And she's trying to appeal to that.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, I was confused. I even watched it. The second time I watched it, I was still confused about it.
Yeah, no, she thinks that was a good man, not a guy who's been pushed into a corner,
right?
To where there's really no option but to do the right thing.
Oh,
yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, because he was actually going to go ahead and turn himself in.
He was going to do it,
That line of hers in that scene is just like, I don't know. It felt like it was slapping you in the face how obvious. She's like, I'm trying to connect with a man who knows the importance of family.
Right.
And that more violence will only destroy what's left of his. Okay, so who's going to make it out alive out of that family?
Right.
Oh, yeah, let's get... I think we should definitely do a death pool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but...
And I don't think it's Gemma.
I don't know.
I don't know. It seems like everyone is in danger. It's like Walking Dead. You really can't pick who's going to die. It's arbitrary, kind of.
But do you really think she's ever going to tell Jax about what she did?
Oh, God.
No, she won't tell Jax, no.
But the thing is...
Who else is going to know except Juice?
It looks like Juice's conscience is getting to him about Jimmy getting away with it.
Juice is the only human being on planet Earth who knows what happened.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, until the next episode when he tells Dayton Callie.
Yeah, I know. Because there was a setup, I'll tell you anything about everything about the club.
So Juice is the center point of this plot right now.
So that's Gemma's next target.
Absolutely.
Not Wendy. Okay, so now we're on the ride home with Gemma and Jax.
Oh, that's what Gemma's going to do. She's going to turn Juice into... Make it look like she's the good person.
Oh, jeez.
I thought that was my prediction before, that she would frame Juice.
I don't think she's a frame. She just say,
Oh, turn him in on this.
I broke my nail. Juice busted in the door at Wendy's. I was trying to pick up the kids.
He attacked me with a fork.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Juice is where? I think Abel's over there with him.
Yeah.
So they're on the ride home, Gemma and Jax, and they're talking about, how the funeral went and how the boys are, and that Gemma said that Tara's service was quiet. It was just the club and friends, and that Abel only knows that his mommy's in heaven. He doesn't know what happened. And then Jax...
That grandma's a killer.
Yeah.
Right.
In a scene that would have been far too poignant to actually show us. We never got to see Abel reacting to his mother's death in any way. We'll have Gemma tell us about it.
Yeah, just in the montage when he was sad.
Yeah.
And that was about it, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, but he was hooker sad.
He was hooker sad.
He wasn't sad about mommy at that point.
Another peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah, really. And then, Jax takes his mom's hands and tells her, thanks her for everything she's doing and tells her he loves her.
Aww.
You're my rock, mommy.
Oh, Mom.
You're holding hands with the devil.
Like 20 days ago, wasn't he telling her that she'd never see her grandchildren again?
Yeah.
And that he's going to burn down her house and blow up her head. And how are we to I love you, Mom, now?
Something about it seemed robotic, and like maybe he doesn't give a shit. Like maybe he's just like, we're going to get this out, we're going to sit there, and I'm going to clock her later.
Well, Jax has this way of speaking empathetically where you can kind of tell it's half bullshit. Whenever he says, I know the sacrifices you've made, I know how much has blown back on you. He says that to the guys all the time. He says it to his mom. He says it to Tara. Whenever he starts off a premise that way.
Or he's pretending to be empathetic.
I'm pretty much trying to dismiss your feelings right now.
What I'd like to start a bet on is how many episodes before he actually goes and sees his kids.
I know. He didn't even see his
I bet
kids.
it'll be mid-season before he goes anywhere near either of them.
Yeah, maybe.
Right now, he's on this mission now, like, okay, I lost my woman, now I'm going to focus on my club. To hell with my kids.
Seriously, to hell with my kids.
You know what's going to mess that up is he's going to appear in a montage, in a rocking chair.
Because he's always got the kids in a montage.
True.
Yeah.
With his quart of milk. And,
with milk, and there's a refrigerator, coffee mug, and a montage.
Yeah. I love it. It's the household with 2 growing boys and bikers in and out of it all day, and they buy milk by the quart, and hookers, and they're buying milk by the quart. Right. Not by like 2 gallon jars.
Yeah, I know.
At a time.
They don't go to Costco.
They don't go to Costco.
Well, that's not true, though, because she has mentioned that she's going to Costco.
Yeah, but we never seen
They go to Costco.
The prospects go to Costco, remember?
Yeah. The prospects go to Costco. Yeah, that's who should go to Costco.
For the MC, but not for...
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that get their Achilles tendons clipped by those flatbeds. And those Saturday morning families that all come in a group and don't know how to drive. Those flatbeds with all their shit on it.
I would seriously rather deal with the Chinese triads than deal with the Saturday morning Costco crowd.
You
can bargain with the triads.
Not that long ago, I saw a guy with an infant car seat on the flatbed at Home Depot. But I was impressed. No. He never took his eye off it. No matter what else he was doing, he kept his eye on that kid. But
That's actually kind of smart.
That's pretty clever.
he was cruising that kid around.
That's dad is in charge today.
It used to be, us kids used to walk in the stores ourselves. Like
This is true.
People.
Yeah.
Now we have these SUV buggies.
And
I don't know. I used to ride in the flatbed, no seat, nothing.
Yeah, totally.
Oh man, I rode in it with a scab picking. No band-aids, I had a broken leg.
Uphill both ways in the snow.
And I had a bees I was fighting.
A what?
Bees.
A
There were bees coming. We don't have
Killer
bees
bees.
anymore, and frogs. We have more recap.
Yes, we have a lot more recap to go. Okay. Now we come to the fun part.
This is a fun one.
So the Sons and the Bastards pull up to the Niners, and this guy with no legs in a wheelchair comes out, and being all big and bad.
Flynn is his name.
Flynn, okay.
Flint.
Is it Flint?
Flint's crew. Yeah.
Tint with a T. Flint.
That's what I heard.
Okay.
And
Oh, this is right. This is when Theo shows up, right? Theo Huxtable.
Is that?
Oh, is that him?
Wait.
No, not the guy in the wheelchair.
No.
One of the bastards is Theo Huxtable.
Yeah.
Is
Really?
that who that is?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I knew he was going
Yeah.
to be on this year.
Okay, I got a new tangent.
Okay, I gotta watch that again then, because I totally
missed that was him.
I absolutely hate when they have all these guest stars in like the last season of a show.
Yeah.
It's like a show gets real popular, you're real invested, and then they bring in these people for fucking cameos. Like I give a fuck about little Disney princesses and shit.
Oh, wait till Courtney Love comes on.
That
kindergarten teacher.
Hole, whatever, didn't need to be on there.
I'm looking forward to some good work out of Marilyn
I really
Manson,
don't like
but
that shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
I do love
actually
my
excited
Nero.
Marilyn
I'm not
Manson's on
complaining
it.
about Nero joining because I love my Nero. But
Well,
Marilyn Manson and...
You know the premise that we run with the Watchers all the time about Kurt's barbecue.
Yes.
How he does all of his casting at the 4th of July barbecue. And
Right.
whoever shows up and has the best ideas from Kurt's point of view.
This is
Right.
why I
Gets
need
the
to
thing.
get that. I need to
You
win that contest.
You need to win that contest.
Right.
You need to get over there. You need to be in the barbecue.
Yes, so I can be on his next show.
Exactly.
Okay. So things get a little bit heated, and who was it? Chibs who shot the guy in the knee,
Yes.
Yeah.
and
And they don't shoot back.
No.
This guy pulls a gun. They all pull guns.
Right.
He shoots.
And they're all just standing there.
It's the most passive
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
gangbang club.
Like,
I've ever
I
seen.
didn't like him anyway.
Yeah, let him go. Oh, but that's just one. We don't really like that guy very much. That's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just his kneecap. God.
God, really? He's still alive.
Yeah.
And they start talking about their mothers.
Oh, we have this. We actually have this from the roll-up here. You ready for your clip?
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, here we go. The Tig classic.
Oh, I love Tiggy. Just
Ain't this something? White boys and colored folk rolling together. Lordy, lordy.
Yeah, why don't you come ride with us, Flint? Oh, shit, that's right. You got no damn legs.
Really? Wow. I just thought he was like incredibly short, very small feet.
Yeah, and a big dick that still smells like your mama's ass.
It's a nice tight ass though, huh? I've been up inside my mother's shitter so many times. She used to call me Little Alex Anima.
Oh shit, that was Theo Huxtable.
Now,
That was what?
It was Theo Huxtable. I totally didn't recognize
Now,
it.
wasn't there things
my
in...
God.
Oh, no, I know what I was wondering if there was things about his mom and him having an inappropriate relationship in the past. But what I actually flipped on was Season 1, Episode 1, the cold packing scene.
Yes.
And what kind of fucked up shit did your mama do to you?
Kill.
Nothing.
I think that Tig just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that Jax is not the only member of Sam Crow who's climbed halfway up his mom's ass.
but the son, I mean,
Tig.
I was
Tig
like,
does not know how to do the
was-
dozens. You're supposed to make fun of the other guys.
exactly.
But it took all the power out of it. I thought it was a good move.
Right.
It's a total Tig maneuver.
And the way he's
And nobody else but Tig could pull that off.
exactly, and the way he said it with his
Little-
mouth.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
You know?
he did a Jason voice.
It was so Littlefinger. Tig, if they ever recast Littlefinger, they should use Tig.
Oh
on,
my
on
goodness.
Game of Thrones.
True.
Nice and sleazy and horrible. Okay.
But, yeah, he does not disappoint, and I was just cracking up every time I heard that. So they put a hook on the back of the wheelchair, and of course, Bobby takes off with this guy. it reminded me of some movie because the way it was shot.
Yeah, well, they had the
it was like hysterical.
Camera, yeah.
You know, because that like
it was classic.
Was it like GoPro or something?
It had a GoPro or a DSLR attached to a rig in front of the guy's face,
it was
and they're pulling around the thing.
I'm sorry, but it was hysterical because it was the way it was shot.
Yeah, it was.
And his look on his face was like, oh my god.
It reminded me. I've spent the summer playing Saints Row 2, which is like an old game, but I'm like it's in my backlog and I'm getting into it.
It's hysterical.
It's like Grand Theft Auto, but there are these scenarios where you hook people onto wheelchairs and drive them down the street and have to smash up as many things as you can with them.
This reminds me, Molly's my middle child. She's 19. My youngest one's 17. When she's about 6, she said something about shooting hookers and taking their money. And I'm like, what? And I found out her older brother was letting her play Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's
hitting hookers
activity.
with the car and jumping out and taking their money.
Well, Saints Row has more fun-loving version of the same thing.
Yeah, I highly recommend Saints Row, especially when you get to the level that's just about having a tank full of shit.
And spraying.
And you just spray it all over town. Anything that makes you mad. It will have you in stitches. It's the best come home from a hard day at work detox thing.
Totally.
Oh, I'm just going to spray feces like a monkey.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so Bobby we need a Bobby expansion.
Yes.
Yeah, for Saints Row.
That was good. So Gemma drops Jax off at Scoops, and then as she's driving off, she sees Wendy getting out of her car.
There was one more point in that scene. This is something that I'll let you go. That I feel a little bit validated, and maybe a little bit like somebody in Sutter's circle might listen to our cast and get it because they acknowledged in this scene that nobody can fucking understand a word Chibs is saying.
Oh, I forgot about that.
We've done misheard Chibs every year when it's come up. You know, it's like what did he? And in this one too, when he finds out that Jack is out, Jackie Boy is out. His knees are around the table. No, he needs us around the table. Okay.
It sounded like
it took me 2 beats on that
Speaking of Chib, I think it was in a Sally Wainwright show that we've been binge watching lately, where they explain what Chib means.
Oh yeah,
that is the name of the scar.
It means scars or knife.
Yeah.
Right, and he has this Glasgow smile, and he has those Chibs on the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
so anyway, misheard Chibs has become a thing now on the show, and I just feel great.
He almost sounded drunk when he was talking. Yes. Even like walking, he was like.
Oh, he's so Scottish.
Oh my gosh, and I had to turn it up because I could not understand
You're not
him.
supposed to.
You have to have subtitles with Chibs.
Yeah.
And then watch, that'll be on one of the final shows because he's still writing on.
Yep.
It's not completed yet. Okay, anyway. So, we're back at Scoops, and so Gemma sees Wendy getting out of her car. She slams on her brakes, and she's like, "What are you doing here?" And Wendy said something like, "Well, I got out." And then she kind of
checked herself out.
She checked herself out after 9 days because realized we can't have her be in recovery for 90 days.
Right.
And then it'll be like 3/4 of the season will be gone.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, there was no 90 and 90 for Wendy here.
No. And so she lets Gemma know that she knows that Jax is at her place.
Mm-hmm. I'll be staying at your place because you sublet mine to Juice.
Exactly.
That was great, the way she delivered that.
And I love the way she delivered, it seems way out of character, for being nice and stuff.
Yeah.
And then Gemma says, but there's been enough death.
Really?
Really? It's not over yet, lady.
It's not over for the death.
You're still alive, Gemma. More people will die.
Yeah. And then Chibs was like, he sees Wendy, and then everybody else, all the other guys outside see Wendy, and he was like, "You want me to take care of it?" It's like, what?
You're just gonna walk up? Do you want me to walk up and shoot the mother of your children in the street?
Right.
Or what?
Yeah.
No, it's okay. Let Gemma handle it.
Yeah. And so after a little talking, Gemma kind of gets in front of him and says, I got her out because we need help with the boys and da-da-da-da. And so he agrees, and everything's copacetic for right now.
That was a little too easy.
It was a little too easy, but with Jax being so friggin' depressed during this entire thing, it was like, I wasn't surprised.
He clearly doesn't give a shit about those boys, or he would have left town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know if I need a whole lot of Wendy reconciliation stuff. Just she's a useful character. Just let her do her part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is my recap.
There you go. Okay. Take care of Wendy, yeah. So we have Miss Danielle. We are starting with you and Nero and the Mayans.
I was filing stuff on my iPad.
All right.
Well, I'll kill time about Theo Huxtable some more while you cue that up. He's supposed to be on 4 episodes this season. Oddly enough, he's the vice president of the Grim Reapers. Grim Bastards, or whatever the hell their name is.
The Oreo bikers.
And apparently he's like a biker in real life. Whatever. But his role supposedly gets bigger. I was like, wow, you can't get much smaller than this per episode. It's just so funny the way they write these pieces. Theo's back from the grave. But it'd be interesting to see what he does with some lines, But I mean, come on. I mean, I'm with Danielle. What's the point of these kind of stunt casting things?
There was I forget. I think it was MTV that had like the 7 questions that Sons of Anarchy must answer, and one of them was not, will Tio be able to fill out his charter?
Yeah,
that was not one of the burning questions everybody had. But evidently we're going to answer that one first. So
yeah. Woo.
Are we ready?
Yep.
All right.
So where I pick up, Padilla is meeting with Alvarez and Oso, I learned later. Now, Alvarez and Oso both had president's patches, so they must be president of different charters.
Is Oso the Russian-looking guy?
No, he was the other Latino that was at both meets.
Right. So they're both.
He was he had a Mayan cut on, and they both said president. So one must be Stockton and one must be Oakland or something. I don't know.
Or L.A. Aren't the Mayans in L.A.?
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
No, mine's are
but it's about Northern California
Stockton.
business.
There's Stockton,
and they both had Northern Cali on the back of their cuts.
Okay,
so they're different areas. So I wasn't clear on
maybe
that
they're
part.
co-presidents.
But later on, they did refer to Oso because I didn't see his name either. I was just really happy to see that much brown, beautiful men on the table. I was good with that. As I sit next to my brown child.
Danielle likes her Latin men.
I like my men brown.
She moved to the right part of the country.
Yeah, no, I'm from here.
Right.
I'm from here.
He had no reason to leave.
No. All right, so they're the 3 of them are sitting down and they're trying to broker peace terms, or at least Padilla is trying to. Alvarez is clearly like, look, shit's gonna hit the fan. Yeah, that's fine, but when whatever, it ain't gonna work.
They're also talking about the Mayans going to the water instead of the road. Right. That was the other part.
So that's what they said. They'd like to start using a connection that they have at the Stockton ports to move in product that way. Nero warns them of Borowski and offers to help broker the deal to make Borowski happy. And Alvarez makes it clear that he'll off Borowski in a heartbeat if he fucks him over. He's like, yeah, that'll work for a while, but, But Alvarez, to me, he's making it clear that, we're moving towards war. You can try, but it ain't gonna happen. And the meeting breaks up when Fiasco and his girl bring word that the return of Teller, And Fiasco, I just can't look at him with that silver grill. It's just so hard to look at him. And so Nero promises to talk to, Jax and Borowski or whatever and get it moving.
They should kill him, Borowski, and then bring him back as Roborowski.
Right. I'm glad we haven't seen much of Borowski. He's so hard to look at.
Yes.
He's just so gross. He's great at...
I love Peter Weller, but...
I like him behind the camera more.
I think they've made him up to look especially
it's just... It's the role. It's the role.
And then they put him with those, clean-cut looking hookers, and he looks even more grizzled,
True.
So
that
disgusting.
Scene with him and Colette.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
That was tough. Yeah.
That was gross.
It was hard to watch.
It's like Quato and the chick from Deadwood are going at it.
Quato.
So Nero does a bunch of fancy double talk with Alvarez. About, they're asking about, what about Gemma? Is she going to get in the way and all that kind of crap? And Nero's like, look, just kind of blows him off somewhat with some fancy talk.
He does his usual, then he says, you didn't answer my question.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. He says, well, I might be a good politician after all then.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Still didn't answer my question.
Yep.
Yeah.
He just smiled. That's funny.
And then
delay is not an answer.
Essay.
And then the boys gather around the table for the first time since Jack stepped down. and Tara's killing.
No ice cream.
Yeah. I got really sentimental for some reason as the boys were coming in the room and sitting around the table. It just was...
The table is now my favorite character on the show.
Yeah.
I look at the table and I say,
Table's been through a lot.
Table, you've been through so much.
Yeah. And I thought about that, too. I thought about, all the different things that table's gone through.
Yeah.
And it is a little bit odd to have the table in a different setting.
It survived Hurricane Roosevelt.
True.
Yeah.
And a fire and a bombing.
And a bombing and all this other stuff. Yeah. It's the toughest member of the show.
So Jax is back at the head of the table, and he thanks the guys for helping Gemma for taking care of his family. I noticed Chibs is wearing the VP patch still. And did you notice what Happy was wearing? It was like a T-shirt that had a machine gun, but then the barrel of the machine gun was a Reaper sickle.
Does Happy not have a cut? It's been like a thing.
I don't know where his cut was.
He never seems to be wearing his cut.
Yeah.
It's always a T-shirt or something like that.
That's true.
But I took it by the T-shirt and by the, doing work for the Italians that he's still the sergeant at arms. Because, remember, Jack stepped down. Bobby was supposed to be the president.
Right.
And so, but it seems like they've gone back to their old positions where I didn't see what Bobby's cut said, but I'm assuming he's secretary-treasurer again.
I assume so, yeah.
Especially because he was the one checking in on new business and stuff.
Yeah. And he has all the... the new business, the old business, and the
And remember, Bobby's dad was supposed to be a accountant for the mafia, and kept their double books and stuff, and that's why he's the one that deals with the books.
He is an accountant. He should be earning a living. You can make good money.
And that's why they sent him over to Cara back in the day to help with their books and stuff.
Right.
So he does have skills in that area. So then Jack says he wants to check in on all their alliances, and it was good for us because it's like, God, he's talking to so many people and making so many deals. It's like, who are you aligned with these days?
Right.
So we get to see Happy added a face to his ribs, and now Kukuza owe the Sons a favor. Connor's coming out to handle transitioning guns to Black.
By the way, that I did a double check while you were talking, Danielle, and that is Happy's 6-pack in the opening sequence because they animate all the faces, like where he added a face, with a smiley face and everything. So, and it's the same actor's name, so that's definitely Happy in the opening sequence.
Happy is core then.
And I wonder, does he put a smiley face every time he just kills someone because he kills people all the time, or is it just when he does like contract hits?
It has to be a contract hit,
because
otherwise
he should
he'd be covered in
exactly
stickers. Yeah.
Well, you only saw one side. Maybe he's already covered up the other side.
That's possible. So to see what he did to his tank,
or maybe it's like.
Oh god!
Or maybe it's for like every 10 kills. It's like a punch card system.
Yeah, right.
Always an anatomy lesson with.
Yeah, he gets a free frappuccino or he gets a tattoo.
Yep. And then Chibs does his check-in and he says, "Darker Dan." That is an interesting name. Darker Dan and a few of the Grim Bastards prospects were shot up. Dan bled out and the prospects are still holding on. And then the Bastards found out it was Flint's crew. So that was we were talking about earlier.
Right.
And then Tig says they dragged some info out of them. And we're told it was an 84 Impala and, kind of who they're looking for.
Big purple Impala.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's
blue.
Is it blue? I thought it was, okay.
Yeah.
Blue.
And then Jax says he met with Tully and he's the number 3 in the Brotherhood. And once he gets to Stockton, he'll be calling the shots from Fresno to Portland. So we learn that Tully, who is the Marilyn Manson character, is a major player.
And we're just hearing about him now for the first time.
Right.
Even though the Sons have been dealing with these racial gangs this whole time, including the AB, they've just heard the name Tully for the first time. Gotcha.
Right.
Sure.
And somebody calls him a freak, and I forget that guy's name. The old hippie biker looking one. The one that looks like a true 70s biker.
The old 70s hicker? I don't know.
He looks like he'd be a jacked... he looks more like the
looks
first
like somebody was in Poison or something.
Yeah. He looks like he'd be in a photograph from the first 9. But anyways, he says that he's a freak with clout, and that's where we learn his rank. And then Jack says we might need to do some favors, but everything seems to be cool with White for now.
Right.
And then we go on to Bobby, and this is where I figured Bobby's back doing his treasurer or secretary stuff. He says the garage is solid. How it could be solid, I have no idea. How anybody ever works on a car, this just doesn't happen.
It must be subcontracting.
Yeah, and then Diosa's picking up, which why were they having issues in the first place? I didn't hear they were having issues, so I thought that was a little odd. And then the new porn studio is almost ready, and Lila's tracking down the old Cara girls, and we find out the new name cleared, and it's a Red Woody Inc.
I love that. Red Woody Inc.
Now, is that like a reference to Peckerwood?
Well, no, a Woody is a boner. Right?
Well, Woody's a boner, but
and
I think
Red Woody is
Red Woody. I think of Woody Woodpecker's Red.
That I'm thinking of Woody Woodpecker too, and other cartoon characters as well. But I think it's Redwood Originals, right?
Redwood. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I was trying to figure it out. My little brain wasn't making the connections.
Yeah.
That makes
so
so
they are the
sense.
Red Woodies. They're sitting around that table.
There you go. Okay, because red, I don't think white boys. I think Native Americans.
No,
so I'm like, where are they
Redwood.
going exactly with that? Yeah. That totally makes sense. Okay, so and then we have a clip.
Yes, we do. So this is Jax's. This is a fairly long clip. There are 2 solid monologues in Danielle's segment here that we're going to play the totality of because I think they actually speak a lot to where these characters are. You know,
and I've learned too when we have these long monologues like this and we do it on the cast, you hear it differently when you're not looking.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you just hear it audibly.
Yeah.
One thing you learn in
more.
filmmaking or TV or anything, sound is 60 to 70% of your experience. It's not visual. So it's weird that they call it, motion pictures when it should be motion and sound, or sound and motion.
Right.
But yeah, no, that's how you can always tell when a person's done a cheap ass film. The sound sucks.
Right.
Yeah. Because you can't close your ears. You can't. You can't divert your ears.
You can close your eyes. Your brain will fill in different things in the images. That's why we can play with impressionistic things and symbols and things because our brain will do that. But not when it comes to sound. Every sound. There's so many tracks.
Right.
Because I just went through this with a pro. Every sound, the slight door, it has to be that exact kind of door, that kind of car. That there's just layers and layers and layers that they add.
And that's where I bring something different to the table than you guys hear, because most times I don't hear that stuff. And then you guys point it out because you guys are looking at it from a different point of view.
Yeah, but
from a director or a producer or a writer or whatever.
But you experienced it just by listening.
Yeah.
I experience it, but then when I hear you guys bring your stuff, I experience it in a different way. So it's just I geek out on it. That's all. Okay.
So here's Jax's monologue about himself here to the boys.
I never really wanted this chair. I guess some part of me knew it would happen, but...
Bullshit.
I always dreaded the weight of it, the responsibility. Truth is, I can barely make the right choices for myself. I've been trying to take this club in a direction I thought made sense to move us away from all the outlaw shit. That hasn't worked.
It sounds like you hear traffic in the background.
I think some part of me was trying to buy back all the bad shit I've done.
Yeah.
The people I've hurt. That's a false pardon. It's dangerous, and it's selfish. JT did the same thing. And those choices took away everything from my old man. His family and his patch. I already lost the woman I love. I'm not gonna lose my club. For me to move forward with all the things we now have to do, I need to know this table has no doubts, no mistrust, that every single one of you would kill or die for the man next to him. And if you don't feel that way, now's the time to speak up.
We're all in, brother. We love you. We trust you. Tell us what you need.
You trust him? Really?
Yeah, I know.
You believe in
bullshit.
it? Really?
He wanted that title.
His whole life is a friggin' disaster, and you're gonna follow this guy?
This is like maybe one of the 2 most important scenes in the premiere. So I wanted to discuss it a little bit. My thing is, well, I never felt so far like he has ever dreaded or feared being the president of the club.
Me, I thought he wanted it.
Yeah, maybe wanted or didn't. He was ambivalent about it, but he was never dreading it.
No, he's bullshitting. He's trying to act like he's a martyr.
And it sounds like JT.
It's hindsight.
This sounds like one of JT's journal entries. It sounds like he's just channeling JT.
That's what I was thinking too. Like he was writing in his journal, but saying it out loud and then finally redirecting it to the table.
Right. And the idea that it hasn't worked for us to try and go straight because we put all of like 5 months into it. So we're going to double down on outlaw so that we don't lose the club. Well, you know that wasn't working before. That Clay was, 1 foot ahead of a whole boatload of lies all the time that even he didn't want to be doing.
Yeah, but who's going to challenge Jax at the table at this time?
Oh, no.
Bobby,
I mean, no, it's realistic that they would go along with it. I just think in terms of like a self-declared monologue, that one felt...
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But it's ridiculous in a way that I think is true to Jax. It's like, you really do think this way. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's on point for character.
Yeah.
But, as his whole demeanor, this whole premiere episode, it's...
But the one thing he's got command of that I'm starting to see is that Jax, you can tell he's telling the truth when his British accent starts to kick in.
Yeah, it kept coming back every
and it started to come
once in a
back here, so I'm a little thrown off here because this is his truth voice. It's the one that gets a little soft in the vowels and consonants disappear and stuff.
And I like to make a note, we could actually understand Chibs.
Oh, sometimes you can.
Yeah.
We actually understood Chibs.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you only had like 4 words there.
Right.
We're all in.
The act, Tom Flanagan can speak clearly. Yeah, we've seen him in other things. He can speak clearly. I think this character is made to be a little obscure.
Yeah, that's true.
But so this, and also, I mean, doesn't this feel like the speech he gives every year in the premiere of the show to the club, one way or another? It's like, I need to know that all of you are totally dedicated to each other, even though I'm going to throw half of you under the bus, and
to save myself.
And to save myself. Don't worry about that.
I'm going to continue on my mother fuck us.
Yeah, completely. 6 ways to Sunday. We don't let women at the table because they're outside fucking up all of our business. And so
or making it.
Yeah, and so being a member of the club, it's like I've sat through this speech before. It's like going to a corporate meeting and CEOs talking about how this year's going to be really bold and innovative for us. It's like, yeah, just like last year was.
Yeah, but 3/4 of the guys at the table probably haven't heard that many speeches from him.
That's true.
Oh yeah, they're all new.
They're all new guys.
What?
I mean,
Rat and Montez and... I still can't remember that dude's name.
They're also like giving him a wide berth in the whole episode too, because he's supposed to be in mourning. Because I thought it was so strange when he's doing that the revenge killing, the way the camera pan and the way they blocked the actors. It was like they were at church or something and they were watching a sacrament. And they're all just watching, bearing witness. This is very holy that this revenge is being done.
They were watching the auspices. So it's like an animal being gutted.
Something I read too that you were supposed to be kind of getting from their faces, like, okay, this might be a bit much, but we're rolling with it.
Yes,
What you
don't see there is that they are, even like especially Happy is just like sitting there in complete shock.
Right.
I think largely around the idea of fuck JT, we're doubling down on crime.
Right.
It's like
that article I read too about that interview with the guy that was being tortured. He originally wanted to play it like fuck you, defiant, blah 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 blah, and they asked him to play it the way he did, and because of what the guys would have brought out of the guys, the emotion on their faces and the reactions
and
on
the
their
doubt
faces,
that it might have
and the doubt.
Yeah.
Whereas if he was just being a defiant asshole, it'd be like kill the motherfucker,
right?
Right.
Yeah, like he didn't have a say, so they
It just showed you how it really framed how unjust Jax is being.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, we can continue.
Okay. And then we see Jimma burst into Wendy's place to confront Juice about him telling Wendy that Jimma was hiding him out. And he pulls a gun on her, dummy. Guy's holding out. Stupid. And then he also told her that he told Wendy that the guys are out to kill him. So she's like, what am I going to do with you, Juice? So she said she's going to put some money together enough to get him out of town because he can't access his funds because they're at the weed shop and Tacoma's sitting on the weed shop in his place. Mm-hmm. And then I totally forgot that the weed shop, which is also a colonic shop, is called Clear Passages.
Yes. It's mostly colonic shop, and then you got the weed thing going.
Yeah, and I know a girl that does colonics and stuff, and so then I'm like envisioning the tube until it runs clear, and I'm like, I just really didn't need to think about it.
How is a felon running a weed shop?
Well, he doesn't really run it. He's a 25% owner or something.
Or something. He'd have to be under the table or something because there's no. I mean, they're pretty assiduous about keeping organized crime out of that business. Right. Yeah,
it's supposed to be more of an investment.
Right.
When they talk.
Do you guys see how many television remotes are on that table in that scene?
No.
It's true. It's like dozens.
There's a ton of remotes in this stupid little apartment. It's just, I don't know. I thought that was...
I think he got a better TV than she had. Like so you're seeing her old remotes and his new ones?
So he's hiding out and he just takes off and goes to Costco to get a TV?
Well, he probably had an Xbox player, too. Did he have like any?
He had Gemma deliver one. Well, she owes him a couple favors here.
Juice box needs an Xbox?
And if he's waiting around for his money, it's like, why are you blowing $1,500 on a TV? But you know,
yeah.
So he must have stole one.
That coffee. Go back and watch that coffee table in that scene because there's a big stack of hand sanitizer bottles. So he's definitely OCD.
He's definitely OCD.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so classic. It's like all these remotes.
He's the only person who knows where his remote is.
Yeah,
at all
place
times.
He is the cleanest male human being I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. You know, in an apartment.
Well, and all the remotes are in order. They're like not scattered haphazardly. They're just in this.
They're laid out by size and function.
Just like everything in the fridge, all the fruit laid out together. All
in the
bottles.
cabinets, all the labels turned to the front.
Yeah,
yeah. Stacked neatly.
Yeah,
it's sort of like your father.
A little bit.
His father's OCD like that.
It was funny when Wendy came in and it's like, is Rain Man staying in my apartment? Why is everything lined up like a fish stick?
Yep.
Sorry.
And then Jim is about to take off when Juice asks, how's Jax? And they sit down at the couch. And we have another clip.
Yes. So here we go. And this is probably the second most important scene in the show.
How's Jax?
Sad.
What did you say to him? I mean, how did you just have a conversation about Tara?
I'm not a psychopath, Juice.
Right.
I know what happened with Tara and Eli was awful. What I did. I know how horrible that was. But it happened because we were both protecting the club.
Jax was turning himself in.
I didn't know that. I made choices based on the truth I had.
That's the Sam Crow
So
way.
did you.
Yeah, totally.
You did what any member would
big
have done.
picture thinking.
But you know, if Jax finds out, not only will he have lost a wife, but he'll lose his mother.
He'll take it out.
Yeah, because he's going to kill you with a fork.
Grow up never knowing the love of a strong woman.
A strong woman with a fork.
I think they're due for some mousy people.
And the only thread holding this family together
is the fork.
This ain't about protecting you and me.
Very thin thread.
It's about protecting Jax and those boys.
It's just kebab sticks.
Why are we whispering?
I don't know.
That's how I look in the eyes.
She's whisper acting.
That's how I talk to him about Tara.
They all whisper actor.
They have to. Yes, it's the new
Because I know, as selfish as it seems, keeping our truth away from him is the right thing to do.
Come on.
Understand?
It's selfish. Do you see Juice just fighting the urge to roll his eyeballs?
Yeah.
Totally.
So I've never heard
Gemma as ever.
I've never heard Gemma rationalize herself into narcissism quite so overtly.
But see, she also said, you gave me a story that works.
You gave me a story that
works.
works.
As long as she can come up with a story that sounds plausible, it makes all the sins go away.
Then that is the truth. Any story that sounds plausible is the truth.
Then you start telling it, and the more you tell it, it becomes the truth.
I'm the only thread holding the family together because I have killed several members of it.
Right.
And this is again a big Ike
because I haven't
fan. It's
snipped
like Livia.
the cords
She's
to
like,
those
I had to kill
people
everybody. Yeah. Right. She like, no. And look what's happened to Jax as a result of you keeping the family together. He's becoming a stone thug who doesn't give a shit about anybody, Right. And so there you go.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys, what do you think of Katie Sagal's acting in this episode? Okay, see, that says it right there. Now, I think she's a fine actress. I think she's
a great actress. She is. She's
fantastic.
amazing.
She's done some fantastic work on this show.
On this show, yeah.
On this show particularly. But the way Whatsetter's giving these people to work with, it's like, when it's not even believable that the other actors can't believe the stupid stories that you're telling, and then it's not plausible. There's nothing really authentic about the story. There's nothing the actor can do.
Again, and it's just, I want to compare it again to Dexter. That's what happened there. Dexter had a great cast, and we know from the first 2 seasons they were great actors, right? And by the end of the show, it's like, well, you guys have to keep doing stupid things and believing bold-faced lies to maintain this balloon. And so the acting feels like it's suffering, even though you're actually delivering lines probably just as well.
Right. That's the thing. I kind of do what you guys do sometimes. Is I'll watch scenes without sound, and then I'll just listen to the scene sound only. And you really, she looks exactly the same. She's doing the exact same Gemma thing she's supposed to be doing. It's just that what she's been given to work with it's just such a disservice to some of these very fine actors. I mean, that's what I think Maggie Siff's brilliance was that she could even make some of the really bad scenes still seem plausible or believable,
You got something there.
Yeah, Dayton Callie, I think, can do that too. CCH Pounder's got nothing to work with, I mean, these are all really good actors, a lot of them. I don't know that Jax is so much, but... but anyways,
I've liked Hunnam earlier in the show very much. I thought he was delivering on this kind of Hotspur Hamlet Shakespearean character.
Right?
Yeah. He did the Shakespearean prince thing pretty well. He's not doing the anti-hero very well. Right. And because it's not really constructed in a way, he has to keep believing bullshit in order to do it.
Yeah,
because I was telling you earlier that I'm not a cop. I would have just busted her right there. Like you're lying.
Yeah.
We just did not. I wasn't impressed with her this time.
Yeah.
It'll get better. I'm sure it'll get better.
We'll see.
Well, but you can't really point at the actor. I guess that's all I'm trying to make the point.
No, she's a fine actress. She does a great job with this. Yeah.
And there's nothing she could have done to make any of this more believable or palatable or anything to the story.
Right.
It's just such a I don't know. I thought that was whatever. I mean, poor Juice, the guy who's playing Juice. I mean, he tries, but he's only got one note.
When you saw her working with Ron Perlman in the first 2 seasons, and you realize the level of manipulation that she was applying to her husband and to her son, it was and it was very impressive. And then when she did Extreme Things, it was interesting that someone who was so calculating and so controlled could be so impulsive and so violent. Right? It was an interesting element that she's working with. Here, she just seems like she's just trying to keep it together.
Yeah.
So. All right. So recap.
Alrighty. And then next we see Nero is being served coffee by Chucky down at the ice cream shop, and he's waiting for Jax, and then Chucky starts making his plea for him and Gemma to get back together, And he kind of makes it clear when Mama's happy, when Mama ain't happy, no one is.
Right.
So we all want to get Gemma back, snuggling with Nero. And then we see Jax come down from church, and he looks pretty darn surprised to see Nero there. Mm-hmm. And very guarded. Mm-hmm. Very, very guarded.
Because he knows Juice told Nero
right
about Darby.
Right. And the last conversation they had, not only did he reveal that he knew what happened to Tarvany, but he said, don't you think some of the shit that's been hitting you lately might have some, in the stuff that's been hitting Tara
family,
is a result of, you hurt one little boy's mother and then the mother in your life starts going down. And then since that conversation, she's been murdered. Brutally.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, woof, I forget exactly how he phrased it, but...
Wasn't their last conversation ended up in a fight, too?
Yeah.
They fought over that.
They fought over
it was Nero, don't lie to my face again.
Right. They have issues between them that are unresolved.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
yeah. But they also have business to do, so...
Yeah.
Right. So Nero...
By the way, in this scene... Happy is in the background with his cut on. So you asked earlier if he have a cut. He certainly does, apparently.
Certainly does. Good.
Cool.
It was at the cleaners.
Mm-hmm. He left it on the left it back at Lynn's when he was eating chow mein or whatever.
Right.
Nero expresses his condolences about Tara and asks if there's any intel. I found it very interesting that Jax phrased it, nothing from the sheriffs.
Huh.
Meaning...
Oh, we got intel.
Yeah, Gemma.
Yeah, right.
So Nero's been sitting down with the Chinese and the Mayans and wants to help arrange a meetup. Jax says, why wait? And Nero scrambles off to put it together. And not before he leaves, he makes it clear that Brown and Yellow had nothing to do with this tragedy that befell his familia.
Right.
And Jax is like, yeah, right. Because, again, he's going on Gemma's lies.
Right.
Which we find out later. And then Jax suggests that Nero focus on Diosa while Nero focuses on Colette. That Jax focuses on Diosa while Nero focuses on Colette until everything settles down, and Nero agrees. That's funny that Jax would focus on Diosa when Diosa was originally Nero's thing.
Exactly.
Right.
Other than this new location was both of them still.
I think he just wants to avoid Colette, who wouldn't.
True.
Yeah.
Especially after all that.
Yeah.
And then Patterson shows up at the TM and offers Unser a consultant job helping the new lady sheriff, Althea Jerry. Why do they always have to have fucked up names? Why can't she be Sally or
because it's the
Julie
West, baby. Everyone out here has got a fucked up name.
Althea.
Our Burning Man names are actually legally binding.
I mean, that took me straight back to the heat of the night.
Althea.
Actually, it's also a tip of the nod to Courtney Cox.
Courtney Love.
Courtney Love played Althea.
Played Althea.
Althea Flint.
Flint, yeah.
So an Althea and a Flint in the same episode. How kind of funny.
There you go. Foreshadowing of Courtney Love.
Yeah. And so she wants Unser to help Sheriff Jerry get her bearings in terms of charming history. And then Jax and Nero arrive at the meet with Lynn and Alvarez. And Nero asks, what do we have to do to keep everyone moving forward? All the fighting's bad for business. We have to be smarter than a loaded gun. Now, I love me some Jimmy Slips. I love me some Nero. But he does some really stupid mannerisms and stuff. When he does, you got to be smarter than a loaded gun. And then he makes a gun sign.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He tries too hard to be Mexican when he's friggin' Puerto Rican. He's trying to be a California Mexican.
He's trying to be a California Mexican.
When he's an East Coast Puerto Rican.
He is a PR from the East. Yes.
I mean, I'll take him any way I can get him. But
who's the guy who did the mission?
I knew it.
But
the Bratt, Benjamin
Bratt,
and his brother.
Yes, he's trying to be Benjamin Bratt.
What's his brother's name?
Joe. Oh no, nothing about a brother.
I met his brother. His brother did it with him.
Yeah, he did this.
They grew up in this neighborhood.
They grew up around here.
Oh really?
They're both. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Now Molly, Benjamin's brother looks really awesome.
Oh wow. I say my Molly knows I have had Jimmy Smith's cravings is the best way to describe it for many years.
Since LA Law.
When she was a little girl, I used to call my body pillow Jimmy, and I said I didn't need a man. I just needed to put a picture of Jimmy Smith on this pillow.
But don't you find that Victor Cifuentes was a bit of a bitch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a hot bitch. He's just hot. Okay. So, but I really dislike some of the
Peter Brat, is that it?
Stereotypical type behaviors he tries to bring
I see what
in.
you're saying, how he tries to push it a little bit too hard.
Yeah.
He tries to,
He's trying to be a little too old school, OG too hard.
Yeah.
It'd be good if they had a vocal coach on this show for accents.
Oh, they just need, it's too late. I mean, they should have had somebody
He does not
with
sound
Jax,
Mexican
but
at all.
No, he
does
doesn't.
not sound the slightest bit Mexican.
No.
But
Does he have a wig?
Yes.
No.
Yes, he must be wearing a wig.
Nero?
Yeah.
Not the character. Jimmy Smits is wearing a wig.
No.
As part of the makeup.
No.
It seems to me. There's no way they
His
could make
hair looks so fake this season.
Really,
to me.
Molly?
Honey, we're asking. Sion's usually pretty hip on these things. Is Jimmy Smits wearing a wig in the show?
Yes, I think so. Or
Really?
a hairpiece, yeah.
Really?
I think so.
Now that you mention it, I'm kind of like, his hair is pretty thick and full.
I would say one thing you should
maybe.
start noticing, and I've had this said to me by some makeup artists, and I started paying attention. The majority of people on TV, male or female, are wearing wigs and pieces.
Right.
Yeah, unless their hair's real short or buzzed or whatever.
Yeah.
Just because it's so.
Well, there's new ways of doing it now.
And it's so much easier to keep it consistent.
Yeah.
Right? You're filming the whole season
That
over the
makes
course of
sense.
this, that, and the other, and
Right.
your natural hair goes through all these changes.
Right.
Wigs don't. So his hair might look more or less like that, but I
Really?
bet
And then
the
you could
model-
do other roles too.
Yeah.
So you trying to tell me Bobby's the only one with real hair?
I think Bobby's hair is real. It's like
definitely.
Jason's.
It might be extended, but it's.
No,
I think
his
it's
is
just
real.
grown over the years.
I've seen it shorter.
I've seen Mark
longer,
Boone
and-
Jr.
yeah.
in public, and he looks like that.
And he's gone very gray over the last
very
7
great.
seasons.
But
I don't
when you
a problem
have the
with that.
bobby head, that is actually easier to maintain.
The bobby
Yeah.
head.
The bobby head.
It's a
It's
thing.
not. It's not a style, really. It's like what I've got. It's just
The
Does
bobby
it have
head.
anything to do
It's
with
a
the
mop.
bobby pin?
the bobby.
Anyway.
All right, that's a gangland model
Yes,
UN
yes, yes,
meeting.
yes,
Again, at the open air cafe where people are coming by and saying, "Would you like those jalapeno poppers?"
Exactly.
No. Now about gun running.
Anyways, then Jax admits that he was so focused on getting out from under the IRA that he didn't care about blowback on the other groups or the other.
I'm sorry. Every time somebody says blowback, it just makes me crack up. It's just like
You think of a messy blowjob?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just who uses that stupid phrase? It's a blowback on us.
It's sort of like when the shit hits a fan. Or maybe it's a less crass way of saying shit hits a fan.
Well,
Yeah,
of
but
course
do
it
people
is.
say that on the West Coast?
We don't say blowback. No.
Yeah,
It's
like,
not like
oh.
a thing.
Yeah,
I've heard people say it, but yeah, it's more of a TV thing.
Yeah, I think it's more of a TV thing.
It just
We
cracks-
say unintended consequences,
Jeez.
unforeseen consequences.
Yeah, right.
Clusterfuck is big.
Clusterfuck. I didn't anticipate a clusterfuck.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
Blowback and
So I'm sorry, Danielle.
okay.
Yes, please.
no.
And then
Shane is having a little girl.
he's a little meltdown.
We all take turns.
Yeah. And then Jax says he can help with Borowski or at the very least look the other way. That made no sense to me. Either
One
you
can
help,
only look the other way when it comes to Borowski. Everyone's looking the other way.
but problem is Borowski don't look the other way.
I guess
Borowski don't miss
I
shit.
don't know. He says, for better or for worse, I have a relationship with Borowski.
He can be getting ridden by Colette, and he still knows exactly what's happening down on the docks.
That's true.
Well, I think, and this is again,
He actually has his business sorted together.
this is
Yeah.
part of the Jax has to do dumb things to keep the plot moving forward thing. It's
Sure.
like, there's no way he when he was sitting at the meeting, he's like, "Oh, I think we're okay with the Aryan Brotherhood for right now." It's like, you're probably not. Marilyn Manson is probably coming up with some kind of huge fuck Sam Crow plan that he
Right.
just baited you into.
Well,
Right.
Marilyn Manson, I think, was doing, or Tully, was doing the same thing that Jax is doing. He's giving you that, like, begrudging, yeah, I'll play nice, but
Right,
you know
and
I
he
ain't
says,
gonna
I might
play
ask
nice.
for a few things down the road. This isn't going to be ice cream. He's not going to be asking for ice cream. He's going to be asking for you to disappear bodies. He's going to be asking for you to disappear the grim bastards.
Right.
Right? And so, whatever.
Him saying that would scare the shit out of me, because it's like, oh, shit, what did I just get in bed
You don't
with?
want to you don't want to owe the ABs. You know, they've become very pro. I was like reading up on them when we were doing Breaking Bad. It's like they're an actual major organization.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, and then Jack says he can't alter the Connor Black deal, but he can help the Mayans and Chinese get access to the same guns, and they can increase their business outside of San Joaquin County. Right. So then he says the boys are throwing him a welcome home party at Red Woody and invites the Mayans and Chinese to come by and check it out. Check out the women and booze. Jax will invite Connor, then they can have kind of an informal talk under...
And he said families and kids are going to be there.
Yeah.
Right.
What the hell was? Yes, he did. He's like, because the guy says it's you know, last time we went to a party at your place, we all died in an explosion, and he's like, well, no, this is going to be
underage crow eaters. Is that what he meant?
No, he says you know, it's going to be mellow. There's going to be families there, kids even.
Right.
Kids
Yeah.
At the porn party.
He told him,
Oh, but don't worry, there will be our girls there serving snacks.
The girls will be serving snacks.
I gotta get to that part.
Yeah, okay.
I get to that part. Don't take away my snack line.
You know, for these kids, that's no different than hanging out at Gemma's house. You know.
Yeah, I mean the kids are sitting there at the breakfast table and they're like, "Oh, where's Nero with the whores?"
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
okay,
it sounds funny, but you know, hey.
Well, now we know how Jack's grew up to be unable to think big picture.
So Lynn reminds him that the last time the Chinese were in a warehouse with the Irish, it didn't go so well. And they both kind of blame Bohai to some degree and agree that they would have handled things differently and want to move forward. And then Lynn refuses to come unless the pussy's served with snacks too. So.
Pussy snacks.
Yep. And then...
don't worry, there won't be any blowback.
So that I guess I just proved I'm not uncomfortable talking nasty smack in front of my child. She's an adult. Anyways, and then Jax informs the guys that, hey, by the way, you guys are throwing me a party tonight, so you guys better pull it together. I want porn stars there. I want crow eaters there. Connor and Gemma.
And my kids.
And Abel.
And kids.
Yes.
I want Abel serving drinks.
Yep.
All right.
And then we find out that Tio called to say that they found the car linked to the killing of the guys, and the Grandmasters don't want to make a move until it's clear with Tyler because it's Niners territory. Jax says, fuck all that, let's go. So Jax, again, is burning his alliances.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And then he says that Tio owing him a favor might come in handy later.
I suppose. Tio's storyline. All right, so this comes over to me for Act 3, but before that, let's get a little listener feedback.
Ooh, good.
We've got lots of good stuff.
And, yeah, there you go.
We've got a nice, big, juicy mud ball.
A big mud ball.
I felt like this episode was one of the most grisly as far as the violence performed by Jax. I felt like they were trying to show how broken Jax was and how make some of us feel for him. I felt more like he no longer has anything redeeming about him, and I will shed no tears about his death. In Season 1, Jax appeared to be the smartest guy in the club. In Season 6 and 7, Jax appears to be dumber than a box of rocks. Right. Led around by whoever is able to get his ear. So true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can't really blame the club as a whole. He's the head of the group, and the club is apparently all just yes men, except for Juice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's sort of a yes man. But
he wants to be. He aspires to be
yes. In the Belfast season, it was quite clear that someone in that group was screwing the Sons over, and it took forever for them to see it. Here we have Jax diverting and thinking Lynn's crew did his wife. Why? Was she tortured? No, she fought with her attacker and was killed in a way that would clearly say she knew her attacker. Usually I'm upset with the lead female character that is written to not understand that she is in it as deep as her man is. Me too! This show, I'm upset with the lead male that is written to be dumber and dumber. I'm like C.C.H. Pounder and wondering, where is that man I was dealing with 10 days ago? Jax and Tara were in an agreement that the life was too dangerous for their family and they needed to get out for the safety of their kids. Gemma kills Tara, proving their point.
Yeah.
And Jax changes his mind and decides he has it all wrong. Whoever gets proven right and then says, I'm not right, I'm wrong. That was pretty sagacious there, Mr. Ball.
Yeah, that Mud Ball really brought the MB.
Mm-hmm. Then we got Vaughn Carl Brown. Mudball is on point. Why is Jack so quick to listen to Gemma? Why would he not check into the story at all before acting? That story was as weak as some of the plot points of the series. The Jack's characters declined in the last couple of seasons. I'm waiting for a club intervention to take place. I find it a little ridiculous that everyone is just going along with everything and not discussing things like they did in the past. Talk it out at the table. Bobby is surprisingly silent. Chibbs is a yes man. Tick is dreaming of Venus. Happy forgot his cut. That goes back to what we were talking about. And is trying to remember where he put it. Will be fun to see how it all blows up, even if the story is ridiculous now. Bring on the mayhem. And why is not talking about the Roosevelt connection? Kind of a big deal to kill the sheriff, too, isn't it? Gemma just happened to be there and didn't do anything, or call Jax or ambulance and just took off without checking on things. So flimsy. If Jax still had the thinking capacity that was larger than Abel's acting ability, that's true, that kid was always looking at the crew, he would connect the dots.
Yeah, the Roosevelt thing, it actually didn't really occur to me till you mentioned that. It's like, so you saw a police unit parked across the street, right? So, and then you saw the Chinese driving away. Did you hear a gunshot? No, right? If you heard a gunshot, you would have reported something to at least to the club. Her story doesn't hold up because Eli was there. You know.
Right.
Anyway. Okay. So,
although I'm looking forward to meeting the new sheriff.
Yes, yeah, Althea.
That Unser is supposed to go service.
Lady Althea Granger.
But Unser's kind of, we'll get to that.
Unser servicing the Altheas of the world. That's all we need.
Well, it's Annabeth Gish who's gonna.
Right.
Oh, nice.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Fresh off her death on the bridge,
All right. She's good.
She was.
I haven't gotten in that one yet.
Yeah. We watched the first 3 and liked it, but we did since in our back catalog. Okay, so let us get through the climax of this thing as quickly as we can. Happy is the first through the door as the boys are at an apartment complex where they have spotted the. It wasn't the Impala, but they spotted the vehicle that they seem suspicious to be in the area, and they're following up the lead to take out the guys who took out Tio's guys.
Right.
Yeah. And they come rolling up in one of these, and it's just this little apartment building, and there's like 20 bikers here, and nothing suspicious. And they bust in the door, and we see like a large guy and a small guy on his hands and knees, getting some butthurt Kurt action with a lady friend and it's just one of those scenes is happening.
And she was packing a gun.
And she was packing a gun that was ready to fire.
So
she
was
just
she
like ready
a
to grab a gun.
or what? I didn't get that part.
Prostitute, porn star, or congregant, who knows? But she was definitely.
Or it might have been part of the sex play.
She likes to pack a loaded weapon
true.
during sex play. It's part of it for everybody to be waving around a loaded gun.
That was such a great scene.
And she starts firing, and of course the boys start firing because they're not East Dub. They don't wait around to see who falls over. They just start shooting. And
it's not uncommon for people on that person's level to have a weapon or a gun under a pillow or in a nightstand where they work.
Well, she certainly did.
It's stupid, but it's not uncommon.
I'm just thinking she's probably not the church secretary if she's got it packing a gun that.
No.
Oh, she might be.
Owning a gun is one thing.
She was servicing a lot of pastors.
Owning a gun is one thing, but having access to it when you're spread eagle with a train on top of you.
Yeah. So we find out that the skinny dude was a past assistant pastor, and the big dude's an assistant pastor. Outside we have Bobby. I think it was Bobby and Chibbs, right? Or dealing with the vehicle, and they find out that it's registered to this church. And then Bobby gets a look of terror on his face about confronting this church that he has no problem going to war with China or Hamas or anybody else or the IRA. But as soon as this church was mentioned, Bobby was like, man, they got a lot of money. like they're going to come after you.
Oh, it's going to be a mega church.
They're going to roll gangsta on you.
Oh, that might be fun. Mega church versus...
Vicarious mega church is going to roll gangsta on you.
Yep.
That's going to be hot.
That's definitely coming. So we get to deal with, the role of religion in society the way Sutter does in his way. So it's the Piedmont Graces Church is what it's called, and apparently they're pretty big. So Jax has is it a couple of the Tacoma guys or just I forget who it was, but a couple of the guys orders them to dispose of the bodies.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he ordered it's basically the guys that have recently joined.
Yeah.
Quinn, and he was originally from Nevada or Vegas or somewhere, Reno, I guess. And then
I think they're all from Nevada.
Montez, who was Selena's brother in the movie.
Right.
Yeah. And the little scruffy 70s dude.
Right. Now,
so it's all the ones that are full members, but they're bitch
now,
members.
I want to forget this. Later on when they're montaging, isn't it raining when they're burying the guys?
Yeah.
Is it raining anywhere else in the montage? It's like they're in the one little part of San Joaquin that's getting rained that night.
That dark cloud.
Well, they needed it to wash the evidence from the bodies.
Or they drove it all the way up to Napa.
Yeah. Well, Napa, we're in a drought right now. Where'd that rain
we've
come from?
had like 4 drops of rain in the last 5 years, but there you go. Okay.
It was like pouring.
It was totally pouring, and it was not anywhere else. So and the little weirdness there. And I just
but didn't they look cool? Mm-hmm. I mean, all wet.
Yeah,
it looks backlight. Cool. Sometimes they'll wet a set, especially you'll see streets that are wet for no reason. It's because it refracts light.
Yeah, we were watching Saturday Night Fever. That's a wet street movie from hell. And I had a note here. So like, okay, just when the white, black, yellow, green, and brown are all settled, the Suns decide to just declare war on God because they don't have enough problem. Okay, so then we're back with now I get my it's Gemma and who?
Lila.
Lila. Yeah, slipping my mind. Okay, Lila. Yeah. Discussing and Lila's talking about how she's going to get into directing and production on Bourne and get away from the camera
because she's tired of squats.
She's tired of squats and waxing. Just every day is squat, wax, right?
I guess you have to squat to wax your asshole or something.
Well, you have to get to expose the area.
There you go.
And you have to squat anyway you have to be good at squats.
Don't get me started.
Get your core strong.
We had a special mirror for all this by the bidet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think she was also
we were clean.
Referring to exercise as well. But so then Gemma says that she was thinking of bronzing her clit and turning it into a necklace. And then Lila says she might want to hold off on that jewelry project as she sees Nero walking in the door.
Yeah. And it's funny how many people are trying to get them back together.
Oh yeah, everyone says that you're missing this. They're missing, or he's missing you. She's missing you. Blah blah blah.
I think the bottom
not
line
even
is
saying anything.
Gemma's so much more tolerable when she's happy.
It's like
exactly. He does keep her kind of busy, and he is a good guy compared to her. That's for sure.
And everyone, but even Clay, it's like Gemma's better off when she's with a guy. When there's no man in her life, we tend to get a little drunken, crazy, driving around shooting guns randomly. Here,
drunken Cersei.
Yeah, we get drunk Cersei. Here, she restricts it to just killing her relatives.
What I was going to say about that is, in the after show. Did you guys watch that?
Yes.
We tried to watch. We tried, and I think we got through half of it.
We were tired. It was like
so bad.
We got through.
I know. I didn't like that host, but
nobody does.
But when Katie was on there and they played that clip or something, or that line came up, they were both cracking up. They couldn't even stop laughing. It was just so funny.
Must be an inside joke.
Must be, yeah. But I thought that was cute.
You know which is much better than that after show? Katie Seagal was on Craig Ferguson this week. And they played off each other so well with the little sexual Indian note. And she was smoking.
He's a real interviewer, though.
It was supposed to be like 2 days before she got her Walk of Fame
star,
which I love the dress she was wearing for the Walk of Fame.
Oh my God, was that amazing?
But she had on another dress the night on Craig Ferguson and like 5-inch black pumps. And she was smoking hot.
Yeah. But I agree with Shane. She needs to get some good material on the show to really to justify all that.
Sutter needs to quit writing.
He just needs to get an editor. I mean, he does some good stuff. He just tends to be afraid of it.
He also needs to be told he can't go over 60 minutes.
Yes,
I know.
Yeah.
Right.
God. And then so Nero's like, you know why I had to pull back here? And he's like, oh yeah, the street calls. It's like, it's not the street. It's I'm really trying to work on keeping people I know alive. And so therefore I'm dating you a little bit less because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no fucking
I think he's
kidding.
starting to smell that she's a curse.
Yeah, but I did like
She's
the
the Widowmaker.
Then they sort of kiss
Yeah.
and hug, and they're like that couple in high school that you just want to keep them together so that none of them bother you.
Right.
Then we have Wendy.
But wait.
Yeah.
Do you really think this is the one thing I thought massively strained credulity for me? I mean, it's just the one thing.
The one thing, huh?
That's right. But I mean, why is this guy coming back to her? I mean, I don't know. I just thought it was absolutely effing it. I mean, maybe she does have a bronze or a silver or gold clit, down there or something. That's just amazing. But I mean, damn, dude.
He's clearly in love with her,
Right.
He knows she's trouble though, because back to last episode, last season, after Clay dies and they're in the car and she said she's all boo-hooey about, I don't know why I'm so sad, and how he doesn't deserve her sadness. And she looks at Nero like, oh, you can always marry me. And he goes, no offense, Mama. I've seen what happens to your last husband.
Right.
It's not pretty.
Yeah.
He knows. He doesn't want to.
But at the same time, he's also a man that is definitely drawn to crazy bitches.
Yeah.
Like his ex was a junkie, and that's why his son's way it is.
Half-sister he was
and then
involved
his half-sister who was in love with him and was crazy as sin.
That was crazy.
And bipolar and whatever else. And but then, then we see little glimpses of how they're perfect for each other, too. Like back in the Juice OD scene. And Lila says, should I call 911? And they both go, no! Yeah. And then they immediately go into, make him throw up, make him walk. They knew exactly how to get somebody through an OD without it being reported.
But and
so in ways they're like same agenda, but then she goes off the rails.
I buy him coming back under certain circumstances. This feels a little bit like, I agree, it's strange credulity, but I think
He seemed like he was wandering over to her like a lost dog.
Yeah, a little bit. When there's a lot of opportunity for her to see that she can have a life outside the MC by, he's not going to get patched in. This is some other guy. And him seeing that he could have, he can pull somebody out of the life. I mean, there's this opportunity for them to be a couple of people who are not running criminal organizations and that kind of stuff, but they're both failing at it. And they're kind of the surrogate parents to Jax, who's also failing at it. And it's just like, I want to see some richness to that exploration and have it rather than just sitting there on a plate, but anyway.
Well, I mean, I do love it later when she cry when they're hugging at the end and she cries and he's just got this look of like, holy shit, what am I doing back at this?
Yeah, that feels real. That's like, okay,
that felt very real.
You're sticking your dick in crazy, my friend.
Yeah, that's right, hero. Don't do it.
Clear.
Don't do it.
Anyway, so back at Wendy's place. She arrives home with a bunch of groceries, and
then everything was fully stocked already.
Yes, of course. But she brought some cleaning supplies for juice and some extra juice.
Yeah.
And she negotiates with Juice. He has a couple of days to figure things out, right? And then Unser has a special ring on the door, so she knows that's him. Right? And she's like, Unser's here to pick me up, and Juice just stands there. And he's like, I have to let him in.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, right, yeah, got it. Hustles off to the bedroom. And then, this is a scene I kind of wanted to get people's impressions of. So she has these groceries on the table. She goes into the bathroom to freshen up. She leaves Unser, who is a cop, he's got a cop's instincts, in her living room. He, opens her fridge, opens a closet, looking around. He's seeing all this evidence that the place is lived in and by a man. Right.
By a son.
And then he
didn't see the son thing yet.
The backpack had the Reaper on it.
Later on, but he didn't see that till later.
Right.
No. He saw
that was that thing.
The outside of the backpack.
Oh, the outside.
Reaper.
He saw the outside.
When he came back, he saw the cut.
The cut, right.
Right.
Okay, so he sees that there's a son here,
and he could probably figure out who the OCD son is.
It's all this health food,
and who's missing,
and who's into fruit and Adwala and shit like that, right? And she's in the bathroom. She's like, "Oh, can you get my coat out of the closet because it's 85 degrees and I need my coat." And he opened the door and it's always there's men's clothes and stuff like that. Is Wendy intentionally trying to get Unser
look like that
to pick up what's happened here and so that she doesn't have to rat anybody out? Is that
that's why she doesn't look like she's trying to hide.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I don't know.
Especially when he asked her, "Well, do you want to take the groceries with you?" And this is
like, no.
fruit and juice, and you're not putting it away.
You're just gonna leave it on the
You're
counter.
just gonna leave it on the counter for a few days.
If she wasn't thinking ahead and was careless, that's one thing.
Right.
But as soon as he started, like, what about these groceries and whatever, it was like, oh, fuck,
I need a
should've
cover
put those.
story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's put those away.
And she doesn't even try. So.
Yeah, but Wendy is dumber than a sack of rocks.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how she got hooked up with Chad.
She always has been, and she's 9 days out of rehab, and she's got one thing in her mind: is get to the kids.
Right.
I don't know. You know, I mean, she's not exactly trying to hide Juice's story. She's running around telling this to that, and you know, I mean, Gemma gave her the. Should have, you know, when she talked to her earlier in the episode, should have brought her on alert. You know, don't do stupid stuff. But Wendy doesn't know.
Don't invite Unser over to your apartment.
Yeah, I mean, you know, go get your stuff and take it out to Unser's car. But no, she's just not that sharp. Come on.
Or let me loan you a car. What do we need Unser picking you up all the time for? Why can't you just drive a car?
Yeah, Unser's always the
why
chauffeur.
Why is
the guy
Unser
with
chauffeuring
cancer.
people who have driver's licenses?
Right.
Is always the errand boy.
No, it's different if he's dropping you off at rehab. She can't take your car to rehab and whatever.
No,
but
it's different. Yeah.
But that's Unser's
going
job.
to Gemma, she doesn't need her car just in case she's home alone with the boys and there's an emergency, or she needs to like run out and get something from the store. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just this whole scene felt a little like, but it works because Unser picks up the scent. So I'm just trying to figure out whether Wendy, like Shane is suggesting, is just completely oblivious to the idea that it would be obvious that someone's living here that's not her, or whether she's like even subconsciously like, I'm not going to cover up clues. I'm not going to try and hide lies. I'm not going to say anything. But if somebody figures it out, I'm not going to try and scramble to. I'm not going to pull a Gemma and scramble to make sure Juice is undetected. I'm just going to.
If she was doing a oblivious thing, I think it's because she's been living her life clean the last several years.
Right.
And by the book and above board. She's not used to hiding shit anymore.
Maybe,
but at the same
she's got
time,
recovery.
she still should have picked up on
that
she was giving it away.
That's a huge thing in recovery, is that lies kill you. Right. That's one of the whole ideas of recovery, is that you cover things up and you lie. And those lead to that's what kills you. And so, yeah, you're right. She'll have a knee-jerk honesty that's not going to work here for Gemma, certainly. Okay. Anyway, there we go.
Hey, well, all right. Before you go on, so to kind of pull into the same point, you know, this one of these interviews with Sutter this week I thought was really revealing. He says, you know, every season I never quite know what I'm going to do with Unser, and ultimately. Yeah, except be Gemma's chauffeur. But and ultimately, every season he ends up intrinsically tied to all of our characters and prominently in the mythology. We had an opportunity to do that with Juice, and then Unser became aware of what's going on with Gemma, but doesn't become aware of anything, obviously, that really happened with Tara's murder. So he's consciously trying to keep Unser connected, and this is the only way he can really do it. You know, I mean, to have him really be involved with the club. I think the Annabeth Gish, you know, the thing with the DA is also another way to pull, because this guy is a really good actor. I don't know how many.
Oh my goodness! I love the role too.
Yeah, and the Deadwood guys, you know, Deadwood fans will know how good he was on Deadwood. You know, he kind of does this really good job at playing the second lieutenant to Wild Bill Hickok, and then to you know, Seth Bullock, you know, the Deadwood main guy, and then here he did it with Clay in the early seasons, and now with Jax, you know, and with Gemma, and then with Jax, you know, and he's got this sort of earnestness about him, you know, and this kind of honesty and this authenticity. It never feels forced with him, and he's getting pulled in a lot of different directions, and his loyalty, he never really knows where his loyalty is truly going to lie.
Yeah. He does seem like a Shakespearean supporting character, like Rosencrantz or something.
Right. And so I'm thrilled. I mean, I don't think he's, you know, I think he's here for the long haul. I don't think he's going away in this season anytime soon, which is great because the show can't afford to lose him.
No, because like you say, I think I think he is one of the actors that's holding things up, and he's moving the plot. He's involved in keeping the plot moving. So
yeah.
Because he's the truth finder, more or less, you know.
Right.
To whatever degree there is truth to be found, he'll find it.
Boy, he's going to be pissed when he learns about Gemma.
Yeah.
That's going to be a conflict for him.
Now, does he or does he not have cancer?
He has cancer, but apparently it's just one of those friendly Walter White kinds of cancers that conveniently leaves you alone and allows you to roll a barrel of money through the desert without choking or gagging.
That's right. You can smoke a little pot. You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. A little weed cures cancer. That's what they say.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so then we have the porn parties firing up, and we have various girls and the Triad gang, and Connor's there, and Chibs and Jax try to talk him into basically working this deal with the Triads. And he's like, "Well, did you clear this with Marks?" And it's like, "Yeah, it's going to be fine. All you have to do is do this one thing, and then you'll be out of the." Sure, no problem at all. I'm sure this will work out just fine. I'm sure Marks will be completely understanding of all of this. And there are not going to be any explosions as a result of this at all. Well, I didn't spot any kids, thankfully, at the stripper.
I thought I did see
porn
one
party.
because I remember thinking, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah,
I don't remember seeing.
I didn't see any kids there.
I didn't see any kids either.
And then there's this really sort of intense-looking Chinese dude in a yellow shirt sitting at the bar all by himself. Gemma chats him up with a bottle of liquor and makes sure that he doesn't have any friends or relatives who might notice that he's missing. And all that kind of
stuff. She just basically made sure he didn't have a wife and kids.
Yeah, wife and kids.
Because if you don't have family, you're expendable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, she was just double checking before she.
Yeah, sure.
Framing
Just
him.
double checking. And then Jax calls in his favor on Tio and tells, here's my favor that I need you to do for me. I need you to bag this guy at the intersection and throw him in a van and drive him to my house. And I loved Tio in this. I think he is my favorite line of the show. I need to know what this is about.
And of all the Chinese crew that came, this one guy happens to be driving alone.
Well, no,
how could you bag him without everybody else knowing unless he was alone?
He asked something about that, and it's like we got masks for you or something.
Jeez.
You know, how would you not know that it's the Grim Bastards who did it? It's like, who did I just see you at the party?
They got masks, but they still have those bright-ass orange bikes.
And they're still the same size. No, we're going to be driving some kind of van that Jack's got that has all the lockups that you need and everything.
Right.
Because this guy's a Shaolin master, right? So you got to be careful. You have to bag him real fast. And intercut with this, we have Unser coming back to Wendy's, breaking in, and finding the cut in Juice's bag on the floor. And then there was a lot of complaint about this on the fan sites. You hear Juice's Glock cock as he puts it to his head, and a Glock has an internal hammer, and you don't hear clicks like that when you're going to pull it out. And then had to explain to people that you always hear a click when a gun is drawn in movies because it's a sound cue that lets you know a gun is drawn, and it never makes any mechanical sense. No, but so, and then Unser he pulls out his cop voice and says, "How are we doing today, son?" Right. I see we have a gun on me. Okay, so then we have our closing montage, Bohemian Rhapsody. I didn't have the note on who did this version.
I thought that was a little on the nose.
There's a lot on the nose in this episode.
Oh my God.
Bohemian Rhapsody. Mother had just killed a man and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We have Gemma.
It's the Forest Rangers.
Is the Forest Rangers?
The house band with White Buffalo, Billy Valentine, Frankie Perez. I mean, they the opening part of the song is sung by like 5th and 6th graders from
it's the children's chorus.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, there was a funny interview about that where they're like, I think we're gonna tell their moms not to let them watch the show for this sequence. I mean, Jesus.
Not for 5 or 10 years.
Right. Yeah, right. I mean,
but then we have Gemma in the kitchen at the sink. I mean, the sink of death.
The sink of death.
Talking to Invisible Tara like she's in room 237. Ooh, we're talking to ghosts now. And she says, don't worry, I don't think Wendy's trying to replace you, ... or me, ... not yet. And it's like, talk about on the nose. We just put a jacket on Wendy, a Gemma jacket, that says, you're coming for some assassination.
Right.
Then the core boys come in. We have Jax, we have Tig, we have Chibs, we have Bobby, right? And for a moment, I actually thought that Gemma's story wasn't going to hold up and they were going to take her out. It just felt that energy just felt there. But then we cut over and we see the Chinese guy in question, the one that Gemma fingered. I forgot to mention the party. She's the one who tells Tio that, I saw these Chinese guys driving away from my daughter-in-law's house. And I didn't tell anybody until a couple days ago. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it was definitely him, for sure, absolutely. No need to corroborate this in any way. No need to do any due diligence on this. You can just torture him tonight and that'll be fine.
But see, that's the way that Clay would always get Jax back on track. Let's throw him a bone he can beat to death. Right. And then he'll get whatever he's pissed off about out of his system, and then we can get him to do what we want him to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is just...
And so then we have, while Bohemian Rhapsody is playing and we're montaging, we have the intercut torture sequence. Nero comes over to Gemma's, sees Wendy there, touches Abel's, that's another, or is it, Thomas. So Jax's kids are being touched by strangers throughout the entire show.
Right.
And then they have this guy, and Jax says, you're going to feel the pain. You killed my wife. And the guy's baffled looking. You're going to feel the pain that she felt. And then we go Marcellus Wallace on this guy. We pull out the pliers, we pull out a hammer, we pull out, and ultimately a fork and a thing of salt. And we pull out the salt. I had to say, yeah, okay, Jax, I guess you're just that hard.
Yeah.
You're just going to be rubbing salt into the wounds, which he finally does. The guy didn't look like he was actually in that much pain toward the end. It looked like he was in shock, mostly. Jax rubs the salt in, and he's like, whatever. He's like he just missed his bus or something.
Yeah.
And then Jax is like, okay, one last thing. Just stick with me 1 last minute. We're almost done. Gets behind him with what must be some kind of Valerian steel fork.
They look like barbecue forks.
They are barbecue forks, but barbecue forks are not bladed in such a way that you can just stab them into something. They're going to bend. They're not
a skull. I mean,
just a skull. It plies out.
I think he was filing the tips for a while. That would have been
something,
hot.
or even Gemma.
That would have been a great cold opening. Just
fork is not likely to cut.
My head hurts.
What a cold opening that would have been. Just
gets behind the guy and basically pries out the back of his head.
I know he rubs his head first. Yeah, and then he's.
And then that's it. And we cut out from fork stuck in guy's head and close up on the fork.
Yeah,
just you thought fork was bad last season. I'm doubling down on fork for you guys.
Yeah, because we didn't see it in Tara's head. We saw it in this guy's head. Yeah, it's oh my God. We knew it happened, but...
Okay, so now this is obviously going to start a war with the Chinese. He's going to have to lie to Lin about the disappearance of his guy. There's going to be Gemma's really helping here. So this is for the good of the club that they have to do all this, ask of her. Yeah. So, okay, well, that covers the episode. We got one last bit of listener feedback.
Yes, we do. David Jacobs. Long episode, and it felt long. Yes. Note to Sutter, editing is not a bad thing. Double freaking montage? Christ, a quarter of the show was montage. What the fuck? How many times did someone say it's going to get bloody? Yeah, we get it last season. Bring the pain. That's true. Don't say.
Do.
Yeah,
well, they forked a guy.
Don't show. Yeah.
No, don't tell.
Show, don't tell is the rule, yeah. Show needs a subtitle, Badass Bumbling Fools. How many dudes did you mistakenly kill? Really, these guys are kind of idiots. There's a reoccurring theme here in tonight's cast. Yes. We all seem to be...
pretty really judgmental.
Questioning the developmental abilities of these young men.
Yes, these motherless young men.
I know they got Gemma.
That's probably the problem. She's dumbing him down. My big prediction, Jax will not confront or kill Gemma directly. No, he won't. She will be killed by some other means, and only as Jax is mourning her will he find out the truth, including her role in his dad's death. Jax will get no revenge, release, or explanation. The kids will go off to live with Nero as he starts in the new spin-off featuring Nero and the Mayans, Essays of Anarchy.
The Essays of Anarchy.
Our listeners are getting really clever.
Yes. No, we got some great people.
They're really
writing some of this stuff in.
They're honing their writing and joke skills in that group.
Yeah.
There's a lot to work with here.
That's true.
There is. There's a lot to work with here. It's a lot of fun.
You know, I will say something about this show is that whoever's doing the marketing over at FX does a fantastic job marketing this show. I mean, that skull overlaid on...
Oh, the branding is awesome.
The brand, I mean, it's just spectacular. And I was like, if the show could be half as good as the marketing, I mean...
And I think we should emphasize, because we're very critical of the show, but there's clearly stuff keeping us in. It's like, I'm not in the business of podcasting a show that I don't really like. And so it's...
Yeah, just because there will be people who don't understand that we're just the snark fest.
Yeah, we are a snark fest.
Right.
We snark on everything. We snarked on Breaking Bad.
We snark on things we like.
We're just shit talkers.
We're shit talkers. But a big part of it is that I have a lot of the same feeling toward this that I do toward Walking Dead. I get disappointed when they set up good story ideas and then don't pay off because for other reasons. And that's kind of the way I'm feeling here. Is like that's the disappointment, but it's because you've set up something intriguing. If it was not intriguing, not interesting, if these characters weren't in a good spot, if the branding wasn't great, and the overall action wasn't great, then this other stuff wouldn't bother me. There's plenty of purely bad shows that I just don't give the time of day to.
Right.
Well, so season 5, Jason. I mean, that was the one with the. God, what was the guy who came in leading that FBI or CIA? We
used to call it Machete and Aceveda.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The Machete and Aceveda season was great. It really was.
Had so much promise. They just didn't close it out right. I mean, that was the thing. They just ex machina it to death.
That's when I started realizing that Kurt always closes up his doll box at the end. And so this season he doesn't have to do that. So let's see.
It's funny you said close up his doll box because he's got
the doll. I always like to.
How funny!
I think he might be listening. I like to tug his little.
I don't want to know what you're talking about.
His little Alex enema. His little Kurt hurt alert. So anyway, okay. Well, we will be back next week for episode 702, which will hopefully not be an hour and 20 minutes long. And until then, none of this is going to blow back on you.